to the William Mattar Thursday Night Lights, live on My TV Buffalo, presented by Stellar Roofing.
And coming to you live from Hamburg, New York, it's another edition of Thursday Night Lights, a special Saturday night edition between the Kenishious Crusaders and the St. Francis Red Raiders, the two top teams of the Monsignor Martin. And it's all brought to you by the Law Office of William Mattar and Stellar Roofing right here on My TV Buffalo. And we welcome you inside the press box. I am Joe Krause, and making his broadcasting debut tonight, Mr. Tom Prince. And Tom, you picked a good one for your debut. The top two teams, and so much at stake in this one.
Oh, there really is. And you said it, the top two teams in any ranking, whoever is doing any ranking. And guess what? Tonight, we find out who's number one.
And let's take a look at our players to watch. We'll start on the Kenishious side with the star running back, Elijah Kimball. 39 Division I offers today, and he is 73 yards away from passing former Bennett back Isaiah McDuffie for 9th all-time in Western New York career rushing. But on the other side, for St. Francis, a newcomer in the quarterback, Trent Buttles. He spent the past 2 years at Aquinas, and now with the 7-1 Red Raiders, he is averaging nearly 157 passing yards per game. Okay, Tom, it is now time for our Stellar Keys to the Game. Stellar Roofing, the best at what we do.
The first one, let's go to Kenishious. They got to win the turnover battle. And number two, limit the explosive plays. How are you going to do that? You need to stop Trent Buttles first, number one, because he's the one that is going to be the one that's going to deliver these explosive plays. And he will be the one that delivers it quickly. For St. Francis, they need to establish the run. They need to contain Kimball. How do you do that? It's either the offensive line or the defensive line. You need to win the battle in the trenches. You win that, you could possibly win the ball game.
And so when we come back, it all comes down to this. Kenishious and St. Francis, the number one seed in Monsignor Martin on the line. We'll be right back. It's My TV Buffalo. And welcome back. The first Saturday in the month of November, and it's a big one. A dandy, to say the least, as Kenishious takes on St. Francis. We are moments away. The coin toss is just around the corner. between Kenishious and St. Francis. And Tom, as you take a look, it is a packed house here tonight. You mentioned about in the parking lot, it is full. Everyone was anticipating this one here tonight.
No doubt, and it's one of only 2 games here in all of Western New York. But this is a game, like we said at the kickoff, 1 versus 2. I don't care which way you have it, because some have St. Francis as 1, some have Kenishious at 1. It doesn't matter.
And now let's go down to the coin toss with the head official, Mike Ziglis.
My name is Mike. I'm going to be a referee. How are you? My name is Mike. I'm going to be a referee. All right, you guys are going to call it. Blue is heads, red is tails. Blue is heads, red is tails. I'm going to throw it in the air. If I drop it, we're going to do it again. What's your call? Tails. Tails is called. It is a tail. You have won the toss. You have your choice to kick, receive, or defer. All right? Which goal would you like to defend? Put your backs to that goal. Right here, right here, right here, right here. Guys, right here, right here, right here. All right? Kenishious has won the toss. They chose to receive. Guys, let's shake hands. Let's have a great game.
And let's take a look at the Kenishious sideline. Craig Krasinski in his 4th year with the Crusaders, 31st overall. He started out in Section 5 at Oakfield, Alabama. Then was a longtime coach at Williamsville South when Joe Licata was his quarterback. 181 wins total. And now taking a look at the St. Francis sideline, it is Mr. Jerry Smith. Now his 37th year at the helm. He's been at the helm since 1988. Joined the program in 1981 when he joined his former coach, the late Ray Carney. Now 201 wins total. He recorded his 200th win against Bishop Timon 2 weeks ago. We will step aside for the national anthem.
Give each one of us the courage to play the game in a manner which by our words and our actions is pleasing to you. Let us enter into competition with a spirit of sportsmanship and respect for members of the opposing team. We ask you, Father, to bless each one of us, and especially the coaches, officials, and players. Keep us under the protection of your Son, Jesus Christ, and help us be aware of his presence in the game. Amen. St. Francis.
And welcome back. You can see the St. Francis and the Kenishious faithful fired up for this one. The Red Raiders looking to record their 5th win in the last 6 meetings with the Crusaders. Kenishious won the most recent outing last October, 55-34. Elijah Kimball had a huge day in the backfield, but in the present, St. Francis 7-1 overall and 2-0 in Monsignor Martin play, getting the final motivation from their head coach Jerry Smith. And for Kenishious, getting ready to return the opening kickoff. Tom, before we get this goal, your last thoughts on this atmosphere here tonight?
This atmosphere is incredible. They are lined up all the way around the field where you could stand, because some of it is obviously blocked off. We actually have seen areas of the field of people sitting way up in the grass just to get a spot so they could sit down and relax and enjoy what could be the best game we've seen all year.
These two teams have gone head-to-head for over 100 years. Canisius first opened in 1870. St. Francis opened its doors in 1927. The Red Raiders are 18-17 against the Crusaders since October 9, 2004. A 35-0 win against St. Francis over Kenishious. As we get this going with Xavier Gates Franklin on the return, and he is hit hard at the 20-yard line, but we have a flag on the field.
And I hate to say it, Joe, you know it. Whenever a flag's thrown like this, it's usually going against the receiving team, especially when it's that deep and it's during the play, not something that happened afterwards. This should probably back up Kenishious towards their own end zone.
Here's Mike Ziglis.
To the 10. Hold. Offense. Kick. Saving team number 28. 10 yards from the end of the run. First down.
Mike Ziglis is our head official. He is joined tonight by Eric Mazajewski, Edwin Streety, Ken Thrun, and Andrew Besh, as the Kenishious Crusaders with their quarterback, Mateo Brusco, at the helm. He breaks the huddle, completing nearly 56.5% of his passes, closing in on 1,000 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions to his name. As this is the first snap, it's a handoff up the middle over to Elijah Kimball. He gets to the outside, knocked out of bounds at the 25-yard line. About a 5-yard gain for Elijah Kimball.
That's exactly the way he wanted to start things off. And I'll tell you this even more, Joe. That is right now considered the best offensive line right now in Western New York, sitting right there at Kenishious. When you can run behind that line, you know you're going to see special things.
This is the entire Kenishious offense, brought to you by the law office of William Matar. Jack Cullinan on the outside, Connor Gain, the big tight end, Kimball and Hernandez in the backfield. As here is the handoff. And this will be a short gain. The St. Francis defense was ready. We'll give credit to Larry Hardy III, number 8 tonight on the Red Raiders defense, as Moore pushing and shoving Tom after the run.
Listen, both these teams know how big this game is. It will be intense. There will be some major hitting that we're going to see for a high school football game.
Hey, let's take a look at the St. Francis starting defense. TJ Ware on the defensive line. Well, Rafus Green in the linebacking core. Luke Fleischman, who's received some Division I looks here, as it will be 2nd down and 7. It's a pitch to Amir Hernandez. Hernandez on the run, gets about 1 or 2 yards on the carry, gets some help from the right side of his offensive line, and this will bring up 3rd down coming up.
Joe, before the game, and everybody has talked about Elijah Kimball, we know he is an absolute, not only top running back here, but top running back in the country. But that running back you just said, Amir Hernandez, is just as good and has also gotten to Division I offers himself. This kid's the real deal. Do not make sure that you do not forget about Amir Hernandez.
Here it is, 3rd and 3. And a huge run all the way to the 40-yard line. A first down for the Kenishious Crusaders, brought to you by Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable. Kimball with that run. Kimball averaging 10 yards per carry. Hernandez, like Tom just mentioned, is averaging 8.9 yards per carry. The offensive line, Javez Caldwell, number 56, leading the way. And a big gain all the way to the Kenishious 40. The first drive of the night for the Crusaders.
And when you have success running up the middle, running up the gut like that, you've got to run behind an offensive lineman, and they did that right there.
Elijah Kimball closing in on 1,200 yards rushing this season, 11 scores. You mentioned he's already in the top 10 all-time in Western New York rushing. Here's Hernandez on the call. Gets all the way to the 43, 44-yard line. Hernandez, like we mentioned, Tom, averaging 8.9 yards per carry, 300-yard rushing games, 10 touchdowns. That 1-2 punch that head coach Greg Krasinski praised as well between Kimball and Hernandez. But coach also gave credit to this offensive line for pushing the way.
And that's exactly what we said. To be a successful running back, you have to give props to your offensive line because they're the ones opening the holes.
2nd and 6 coming up. 9:25 left from the 44. Brusco rolls out to his right. He fires. It is on the run. It's a catch made here by Quentin Littleton, who has stepped up on the defensive side thanks to an injury to Arno Mabayo. Littleton in the passing game, and it's enough for an Interstate Batteries first down.
And Littleton is somebody who I actually have recognized as a player of the week on the defensive side of the ball. And here he comes. Look at that quick out right there, especially when you've got an aggressive defensive line that's coming after you. Get things out past the ends as quick as you can, and that's exactly what you saw right there.
All the way to the St. Francis 45-yard line. Brusco again in the shotgun. One man on his right hip. Here's the handoff to Kimball. Kimball spins his way past the 45 and brought down at the St. Francis, we'll call it the 43-yard line. Hit once again by Larry Hardy III as Elijah Kimball getting another run. It'll be second down.
Also, what we're going to look at in this game, we don't know what's going to happen with the weather. We've seen rain. We've walked through the rain already out there. So having a run game and being methodical and controlling the clock, controlling the line of scrimmage is going to be very, very important tonight, especially if this weather changes and gets more rain out there.
And only a 2-yard gain on the last carry. So 2nd and 8 coming up at the St. Francis 43-yard line. Kenishious wearing their road white uniforms with the gold helmet. St. Francis in their dark black with the red numerals. Brusco drops back to pass. He fires to the outside. It's intercepted by St. Francis. And that's our first turnover of the day. Andre Amos making the pick.
That's big. And did you see the way he rode his wide receiver right along there and stepped in front right when the pass got to him? That was great job of making sure you hopped the receiver right there and made that reception. But look, we've got actually an offensive lineman that's down as well right now. But I really thought, look at the way he jumps the route. See that? Behind jumps, cut the route real well to be able to make that interception. That's a great job right there.
Andre Amos recording his first interception of the season, but Kenishious has an injured lineman. That is Owen Scott, number 66, that is down. So we have an injured player. He is able to get up onto his own feet with some assistance from the Kenishious staff. We'll step aside. We'll come right back. You're watching My TV Buffalo. And welcome back out of the injury timeout and the interception from Andre Amos. The Red Raiders will take over with Trent Buttles in the shotgun. He gets the handoff. Red Raiders going to the outside. Kenishious is ready. And on a 1-yard, 2-yard gain for St. Francis, Tyrone Clark Jr., former Connolly Cup nominee with Lackawanna last year. Now at St. Francis, it's about a 1-2-yard gain. As you can see, Trent Buttles, he has been pretty stellar at the quarterback spot.
Yeah, and he's done this against teams outside of Western New York. Some of the best teams in the country he's faced to be able to put up the numbers that he has.
2-yard gain, 2nd and 8 coming up. Another handoff for St. Francis. Another carry, this time up the middle. The Crusaders defense was ready as the ball once again went to Tyrone Clark Jr. So 3rd down coming up. The ball is now spotted. Check that first down now at the 25-yard line.
Clark has been a sensation here in Western New York as a freshman. He's done it as a freshman and sophomore year at Lackawanna. Now he's here as a junior, showing he is on the top stage in Western New York.
Buttles, well, pump fake, steps up, finds the open seam to the 40, past midfield, going to the Kenishious 30, to the 20, to the 10, and it's a touchdown for Trent Buttles, the QB keeper, off to the races. It's a touchdown brought to you by ECMC Go, where the Buffalo Bills go, and Trent Buttles' time went all the way for 6.
When we started this game, what did we say the keys to the game were? Do not let big plays happen, and make sure you didn't cause turnovers. So far, Kenishious, turnover right away, and then gives up to the big play to Buttles, who we said was going to deliver those big plays. That's something that you're going to have to see Kenishious make an adjustment right now, especially on the defense when you see Buttles go straight up the middle the way he did.
Trent Buttles running for 75 yards for the touchdown and able to record his 6th rushing score of the season. He had 2 back in week 1 against Jackson. That's a fake going in, and St. Francis getting close to the goal line. It is good. So the Red Raiders showing a little trickery out of the bag of Jerry Smith. The Red Raiders take an 8-0 lead with 7:41 left in the first. What a start to the game for St. Francis.
But watch this play right here. See the fake, and then he goes straight up the middle. Did you see how right now the line opened that hole both ways? And Buttles shows you just how fast that young man is as he outruns everybody into the end zone.
Trent Buttles also the starting free safety on the defense for the Red Raiders. Now gets the rushing score from 75 yards out as Landon Govan, number 24 of St. Francis, was shaken up after the extra point play. But the Red Raiders getting out hot. They force a turnover on Kenishious' opening drive, and they cash it in, plus the 2-point play. And it is now an early 8-0 lead. As Trent Buttles, he has been fantastic now with his 6th rushing score of the season. Coming in, closing in, now surpassing, we could say, over 400 yards rushing on the season. Pretty good for his 50th carry of the year now on that last rushing score. But you talked about the rise of dual threat quarterbacks here at Western New York. Add him to the list.
Absolutely. He may be towards the top of that list as well. But also, let's talk about special teams. You know as well as I do, games are won and lost in special teams. And no doubt Coach Smith is not afraid to go to those two-point conversions as fakes. And we've seen it game after game after game, and he accomplishes it again.
Jacob Janis with a kick, takes a couple bounces. It's picked up by Kenishious. Here's Xavier Gates Franklin out of bounds, close to the Crusaders' 30-yard line. And that is where the Crusaders will set up shop for drive number 2 tonight in this big-time rivalry.
I don't know if St. Francis could have scripted the start any better. You get a turnover, and then you get the long run by your quarterback and your leader and your captain out there. And look at what happens. You're off to an 8-0 lead. And I'll tell you, you like to script plays as a coach to start things off. It was perfectly scripted right there for St. Francis.
So Jerry Smith looking for another big play on the defensive side of the ball. Kenishious making a quick change. Elijah Kimball makes his way to the sideline. So Amir Hernandez is in the backfield. Kimball getting checked out on the sideline for the moment. Brusco with the handoff to Amir Hernandez. Takes one bump and gets close to the Kenishious 35-yard line. A good run there for Amir Hernandez. About a 3-yard gain as Hernandez now heads to the sideline himself.
It looked like Kimball just needed to fix something on his uniform. That's all he was doing when he went over to the sideline. Gets that fixed, and Kenishious gets their star back out on the field.
5-yard gain, 2nd and 5 coming up. Brusco is in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He looks towards his left. He fires, and it is almost intercepted. The pass incomplete. St. Francis and that pressure from Tyrone Clark Jr. 2nd down coming up. Make a 3rd down as we take a look again.
And take a look. He steps over. Look at him jump the route. What a great job. He jumps the route, hands up in the air, knocks it down. Textbook right there. But I'll tell you, I think he wanted to catch that even more because it may have been straight to the end zone if he ends up catching that.
Mateo Brusco has improved over the course of the season. 3 touchdown passes in each of the last 2 weeks. 174 last week in the passing yard department against Grand Heights,
that's our
Ontario.
first charge. Time out this half.
And now Kenishious calls a timeout with 6:59 left in the first quarter. St. Francis on top of Kenishious by a score of 8-0. And once again, like all season, tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by Buffalo Fresh Roof. So Craig Krzyzanski calls a quick timeout. Mateo Brusco He threw a season-high 206 yards and 1 touchdown in a loss in Ohio to Ironton. As St. Francis out in front right now, 8-0, as we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. Joe Krause and Tom Prince with you. And Tom, you mentioned it. What a great way. You couldn't write it any better for St. Francis, right?
You really couldn't. But I'm going to tell you right now, I like this timeout called by Kenishious. Settle the team down. Get the focus back. Get back to the basics. You know what you want to do. You started out with one good run. Now let's get back to what we were doing and what we're most famous for.
Kenishious, pretty well known for running the football, averaging just under 262 yards per game. And 27 of the offensive's 35 scores coming from the running attack. 3rd and 5 coming up at the Crusaders 35 with the motion man Darnell Gallimore. Brusco rolls to his left, evades the pressure now, throws up on the near side. It is incomplete. Elijah Kimball, the intended receiver. Tight play from the secondary of St. Francis. We'll give credit to TJ Ware. 4th down coming up, and the Crusaders special teams unit is coming out now on the field.
Joe, we've done all pregame, all week long before. All we've talked about is the running game. And then we'll watch this play first as we're getting a chance. And look at the coverage right there from St. Francis. 3 guys standing in the backfield to be able to get that hit on the quarterback and be able to make sure that wasn't a completed pass. But I am surprised how much Kenishious has come out throwing the ball, especially because you're known for the run right there. We've seen a lot of passing.
Here's a line drive punt from Lucas Bonilla. This takes a couple bounces all the way close to the 15, keeps on going and stops at the 12-yard line with 6:37 left to go. Finally touched down by Marco Hunt on special teams, and now the Red Raiders take over. And let's take a look at the St. Francis Red Raider offense that is on the field tonight for head coach Jerry Smith. Brought to you by the law office of William Attar. Dominic Cook Jr., Tyrone Clark Jr. in the backfield. Mason Anderson, the top target on the outside. And the veteran leadership on the offensive line, William Wortcutter from Niagara County. At center, Brooks Runfola at left tackle. That's a pretty solid offensive unit.
It really is. And that's why we said is we're not downplaying that St. Francis offensive line. We're just saying is, boy, this is 2, and it's a slight edge that was going early on to Kenishious.
1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. The Red Raiders go up the middle, get a couple yards before Caden Wayne makes the stop on the Kenishious defense. Caden Wayne in the top 5 in terms of tackles so far this year for the Crusaders defense. And right on cue, the Kenishious defense. We mentioned about Terrence Schuford Jr., Quentin Littleton stepping up into that inside linebacker role after the injury to Arnold Mabayo a couple of weeks ago. Gallimore, Harrison, Hernandez, veterans in the secondary as well. As now 2nd and 7 from the Red Raiders 15. The pass in the slot. It is caught all the way. A 5-yard gain. Evan Necker on the reception. So it'll bring up 3rd and short coming up.
Not only are these the top 2 teams inside Western New York, but they also have the top 2 rushing combos in Western New York. We've been talking a lot about Kimball and Hernandez. Well, guess what? It's Clark Jr. and Cook Jr. also the combo right now that's right on the St. Francis sideline.
3rd and 2 coming up for the Red Raiders. Buttles is in the shotgun. He takes the QB keeper, goes up, crosses the 25-yard line. And Buttles gets stopped finally there. That's a big tackle for Schuford Jr. And St. Francis is able to record a 1st down, brought to you by Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
And that's a great job. That's a win by the offensive line. See the push right there? That was actually a great push there by number 50, Alexander Bacon. He pushes him towards the Kenishious sideline, and you can see him cut right underneath there to be able to get that 1st down.
From the 25, it's another ground play. Here comes St. Francis crossing midfield, going down the near sideline and all the way into the end zone for 75 yards. Tyrone Clark Jr. with an ECMC touchdown goal where the Buffalo Bills go.
This looked almost as the same touchdown as when Buttles did it. It was the same type of run. went right through the gut, breaks it out to the left side toward the St. Francis sideline, and right into the end zone. Boy, this is exactly the start that the Red Raiders were looking for.
Jerome Clark Jr. with his 11th rushing score of the season. He came in close to 700 yards on the ground on the year, able to record the 11th score on the ground and the 29th rushing score and 45th touchdown for the St. Francis Red Raiders this season, as the extra point attempt is up and good. St. Francis now leads Kenishious 15-0 with 4:34 left in the first quarter. We'll be right back. You're watching Thursday Night Lights on My TV Buffalo. And welcome back. St. Francis continuing to dominate in the running game as Jerome Clark Jr. from 75 yards out takes it all the way to the house. No one near him on the run. And the Red Raiders, Tom, are now up by 2 scores and an additional point, 15-0.
And I really like the way he tore into that hole, because you could see as that cut. He saw that hole opened up. He waited patiently and cut right into the hole and took it the rest of the way.
Jacob Janis ready to kick this off. Here is the kick, low split kick up to the up man and quickly recovered. St. Francis indicating they have it. Kenishious, it looks like it was Noah Harrison, but St. Francis comes up with the football. Everything going the way of St. Francis at the moment, unless Mike Zinglis saw something differently. It is St. Francis football. Taking over at the Kenishious 42 with 4.5 minutes to go.
Joe, there's a lot of emotions on senior night. Before we started this game, we got a chance to see St. Francis honor seniors out here today. When you have all those emotions build up, that's when a sideline goes absolutely crazy. And look at what happens right here. You can see him bounce off. They get the recovery right here. And then the minute they signal it goes St. Francis's way, that sideline and crowd goes crazy.
So St. Francis going to cash in. It's the second turnover today for the Crusaders, as from the 42-yard line, St. Francis keeps the chains moving with Clark Jr. on the carry, but he is stopped quickly by the Kenishious defense. Caden Wayne leading the charge. About a 5-yard gain, however, and now 2nd and 5 at the 37. Tyrone Clark Jr. is on fire. As we mentioned, taking a look, those are his stats coming into tonight. He scored his 11th rushing score moments ago. 2nd and 5 from the 37. And now getting to the outside, getting close to the 35-yard line. A short gain there as St. Francis keeps the chains moving.
And I'll tell you, he runs like he's a running back. And it is just as hard to get him down as it is any running back inside this game. He will keep those legs moving and fight for every single yard that he gets.
First down for St. Francis. It's brought to you by Interstate Batteries. The ball now is going to be spotted close to the 30-yard line. As Buttle's in the shotgun, here's the handoff to Clark Jr. Clark Jr. keeps it going, and then he's brought down hard. This is Quentin Littleton on a stop for Kenishious. As the clock, Tom, just over 3 minutes to go in the first.
And now that you've got a lead like this is something that you want to happen. You want that clock to just keep moving. You want to control right now the amount of possessions that Kenishious is going to have, and you can do that by controlling the clock and controlling the run game.
2nd and 4. Buttles rolls out to his left, gets a screen, moves to the outside, down the near sideline, and then going all the way down to the Kenishious 16-yard line. It's a first down brought to you by Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable. And Trent Buttles once again showing the movement with his feet.
But I'm going to give credit also to Tyrone Clark Jr. on this one. Did you see the lead block that he got? Here comes the replay. Watch this come out. You're going to see him roll out, and right there is Clark's block to get Buttles out to the sideline and to be able to get that first down right there.
Chains keep on moving. 1st and 10 to the 16-yard line. Buttles is in the shotgun. It's a handoff to Clark. Goes along the right side. Keeps it moving inside the 5. And then brought down from behind by Quinton Littleton as we're down to 2:45 left in the first quarter. 1st and goal coming up. And St. Francis is in the Kenishious red zone.
And they were going to move quickly right here. They want to get it right up here to the line of scrimmage and make this play move quick.
Red zone brought to you by Willoughby Insurance as it goes up. The Red Raiders going back into the end zone for the touchdown. Making another one for Tyrone Clark Jr., his 2nd of the night. This time from 5 yards out. And St. Francis now leads by 21.
For the past 2 years, I've been saying Tyrone Clark Jr. is a top running back in Western New York. He is now getting the opportunity for the first time to go head-to-head with Elijah Kimball to show that he's absolutely in the league as a top running back.
Tyrone Clark Jr. able to record his 2nd rushing score of the night. Continuing to dominate here with St. Francis. He had 2 touchdowns against Cathedral Prep back in week 4, 3 back in week 7 against Bishop Timon, and now 2 right here against the rival, the Kenishious Crusaders, 22-0 after the extra point attempt is good. It is all St. Francis. Tyrone Clark Jr. starting to feel himself on the sideline already on just 8 carries, 115 yards, and 2 scores. And we're still not even done in the first quarter.
And again, if the defense keeps playing the way they are, he may get another opportunity here in the first quarter. And this is exactly, I love this view right here. Look at the hole open up. You see the 2 offensive linemen? One goes one way, one goes the other way. That creates that hole, and he walks right in for his touchdown.
Alex Bacon, number 50, part of the offensive line for the Red Raiders that has been continuing to dominate. Just coming into this contest, you had Dominic Cook Jr. with 748 yards rushing, Tyrone Clark Jr. with 670, Trent Buttles at 380, and the list goes on and on. Just the Red Raiders now with 30 touchdowns in the ground game this season, 30 of 46. St. Francis came in averaging 33 points per contest. As now Janice once again on the kick sends a line drive towards the backfield. It is picked up by the Crusaders. Kenishious going past the 20-yard line, and then the return stops with Amir Hernandez just shy of the 23-yard line with 2:28 to go. As you can see on the bottom of your screen, the stats so far in tonight's game. Big thanks again to our statistician Michael for computing all the stats back in the studio for us. And now Kenishious Tom going back with the offense. They got to get something going here.
But you can't not get away from what you've done all year. Be patient. There is still 3 quarters and plus still left in this ball game. 1 snap at a time, 1 play at a time, and you'll get yourselves back in this.
Brusco is in the shotgun. Kimball is on his right hip. Now a motion man as Brusco gets the handoff to Kimball, but he's met right at the line of scrimmage. A huge hit coming from the St. Francis defensive line, coming courtesy of Joshua Egby, the junior, listed at 5'10", 240 from your neck of the woods at Orchard Park, and making a statement known here. 2nd down coming up.
And I'll tell you right now, we said in the beginning, what had to happen is St. Francis had to win the line of scrimmage, and they really have done that so far in this one. You saw him go right up that middle, looked almost like he was untouched as he gets into that backfield to make the tackle.
2-yard loss, 2nd and 12. It's a direct snap this time to Hernandez, going past the 35 and then brought down. Amir Hernandez showing the speed close to the Kenishious 40. It's an Interstate Batteries first down as we have a Crusader shaking up and out, getting up Amir Hernandez. A big run from Amir Hernandez.
And a great job. That's what they're doing, being patient, staying with the run game right here. That's exactly what you need to do if you're Coach Grzansky. Nothing changes. You just have to get belief back in that sideline right now, and it happens with a score.
1st and 10 from the 39, under 90 seconds left in the first quarter. It's another running play from the Crusaders, getting close to midfield. Hernandez once again there as we are down to 1:16 to play. As Amir Hernandez, as we have a timeout called by St. Francis, but Amir Hernandez so far this year with 10 rushing scores, 8.9 yards per carry. He has done really well for this Crusaders team.
3 of those touchdowns came against St. Joe's by themselves. He had a day there as he had 3 touchdowns. 5 of them came between him and Kimball alone, but Kimball still ran for over 200 yards in that one and only touched the ball very minimal amount of times. And I'll tell you, it's very hard if you're going to look at the numbers here locally against any Section 6 team and then compare it to some of the numbers we're seeing out there. There's a difference. And it is competition that's out there. And one of the biggest differences, most of their games are played out of state or against teams out of Canada. And you've got to make sure that you are playing a top team every single time that you have to be prepared for and make sure that you could still go out and get victories. And you saw their records coming in, winning records against teams still out in the area. Now they're going to get a chance to put up some big numbers.
2nd and 1 at the Kenishious 49-yard line. Here is the snap, and then some movement, and a flag is on the field.
Dead ball, false start, the entire offensive line, 5 yards from the previous spot. Still 2nd down.
So everyone moving on that one.
I don't know if I've ever heard a call to say the entire offensive line. I don't know if I've heard a ref say that, but it looked to be everybody but the center right there is who moved. But you saw complete movement, and now they've got to capitalize on this if they're St. Francis.
2nd and 6 from the Kenishious 44. Another flag comes in as Kimball gets the carry and goes past midfield. And now we have some more pushing and shoving. We mentioned at the top of our broadcast that this is a rivalry game between Kenishious and St. Francis. But we have another flag as Mike Ziglis is about to make another call.
Legal procedure, offense, 5 men in the backfield, 5 yards from the previous spot, replay, 2nd down.
You know, Joe, you said this is a rivalry game, and I agree with you. And then the other one that you would add into this is somebody I've already alluded to, that's St. Joe's right here. Because if St. Joe's is playing either of these teams, it's a rivalry game as well. In fact, the Great American Rivalry came when it was Kenishious versus Joe's. And people may say that's the #1 rivalry in Western New York. But rivalries also happen with competition. This is going to be a competitive one and turns into a rivalry itself.
2nd and 12 from the Kenishious 38 after the penalty as Hernandez gets the carry, but he is met by a host of Red Raiders at the line of scrimmage. Maybe minimal gain here as St. Francis was ready. Lauren Thompson, the junior on the defensive line, part of that stop. 3rd and 9 coming up.
And right now, Kenishious has got to just figure out how to get something positive happening on the offense. If it hasn't been flags, it's been a turnover. So they've got to right now regroup, get things together, start it in this second quarter, which we're about to approach into, and make something happen positive for your team.
Closing in on the last 15 seconds of quarter number 1. Brusco is in the shotgun, and now more movement inside the trenches.
Dead ball, false start. Offense, number 0, 5 yards from the previous spot, still 3rd down.
Kenishious continuing to go backwards here, Tom.
And that's what we just said. You got to overcome right now these flags, these mistakes, these turnovers. We've seen everything right now. You can see the early move right there where Kimball just starts to lean right there, and that's the reason for the flag.
Closing down quarter number
Dead
one.
ball, encroachment, defense, number 9, 5 yards from the previous spot, still third down.
So now Tyrone Clark Jr. is called for encroachment. This will set up a manageable 3rd and 4 now for Kenishious with 11 seconds left. Brusco in the shotgun, 2 receivers on his left. As Brusco with the clock winding down, the Crusaders are not going to get this snap off before the first quarter ends. It is all St. Francis through the first 12 minutes of action. The Red Raiders on top 22-0. We'll be right back after this short break. You're watching My TV Buffalo. And coming up at halftime, it is the UB Bulls halftime show. UB Bulls football, family affordable fun, will showcase our Athletic Associates Center Scholar athletes, presented by Dr. Todd Shackett, participating school administrator interviews, Thursday night lights, highlights, and more. Again, that is the UB Bulls halftime show. As we got a little midnight train to Georgia here coming on your screen as we start the second quarter of action. St. Francis on top of Kenishious 22-0. All starting on the first drive of the game with the interception from Andre Amos, setting up for Trent Buttle's touchdown, as now Kenishious gets going here on 3rd and 4 all the way to midfield.
That's a great job run by Amir Hernandez right there, as you can see him come towards our side of the field and be able to get that opening right there for the first down.
Enough for a first down, brought to you by Express Windows, now installing windows as low as $329 within 5 to 6 weeks. Kenishious at midfield, Brusco in the shotgun. No, it's a direct snap here to Kimball. Goes along the right side, gets a few more yards past the St. Francis 45-yard line, as some more pushing and shoving inside the trenches here. Kimball gets a good run with second down coming up.
Maybe the break right there, ending the quarter, was exactly what Kenishious needed. Those are 2 good runs to start things off. Think about it. You've talked about averages here. We've talked about 8, 9, 10 yards in average a carry every time they touch the ball. Even if you just make it 5, 5, and 5, you're going to keep getting first downs. You're going to keep making sure that you move those markers every single time for a first down then.
William Wortcutter making his way to the sideline and showing a little emotion. Of course, it's a senior campaign, as we are down to 10.5 minutes left in the second quarter. 2nd and 5. It's a direct snap again to Kimball. He tries to turn the corner, but he's met by the St. Francis defense. A huge hit just back at the Kenishious. Check that, St. Francis 44-yard line. A huge hit. Caden Wright is on the stop.
Look at this. You can see the hole open up beautifully. He takes it in there, trying to get to the outside. What he's trying to do is just be able to turn the corner there and then do exactly what we've seen St. Francis doing on all those long runs right down for a touchdown.
Caden Wright, a 5'11", 150-pound junior. On the last stop, 3rd and 3 for Kenishious. Brusco rolls out, makes the throw, but it is incomplete. Just a little high for Littleton. And now 4th down coming up.
But this is the area of the field where you can make sure that you still get an opportunity and go for this. I would really expect them to still go for it. We're seeing this year in Western New York, between the 40s, many times we've always seen teams want to punt the ball, and it was expected that you punted the ball on 4th down. It's not expected anymore. Now you're going to see more teams than ever, from the NFL all the way down to high school football, go for this.
4th and 3 at the St. Francis 42-yard line. It's Hernandez. A direct snap goes up the middle, and Kenishious is able to keep this drive going. Enough for another Express Windows 1st down. All the way to the St. Francis 35.
And a great job. He was patient. He let his lead blockers lead the way right there so that he could go for the 1st down. You have to be patient as a running back to allow those holes to open up.
Kimball with the low snap, goes towards his right, gets some help from the offensive line. Once again, gets close to the St. Francis 30-yard line. The clock continues to tick, just over 9 minutes left in quarter number 2. Kenishious starting to get some life, like you just said, Tom, in the ground game.
And I'll tell you, this is a great look right here. Look at the angle. You see he goes right through there. What he's doing is following his blocker, and the blocker is pushing towards his sideline, and he's going to go right behind that blocker into the hole, which is what he did right there.
2nd and 5 coming up at the Red Raiders 30. It's a late handoff. Kimball gets the carry, gets help, and then stops right at the 30 to the 26-yard line. It's a short gain. St. Francis was ready. And now 3rd and 1 coming up. The ball spotted at the 26.
This, no doubt, is the best drive for Kenishious since the very first drive of the game. The difference was there. The interception, turnover, changed the momentum. Can they now do what they were doing on that first drive, but finish it off this time into the end zone?
3rd and 1. It's a handoff to Kimball. Gets to the outside and gets it off to keep this drive going for Kenishious. It's another Express Windows 1st down, all the way getting close here to the 15-yard line.
And a great, look at how much clock has come off on this drive alone. Remember, the ball started in this quarter with Kenishious. They've already gone over 4 minutes in this quarter alone, and they took off time in the third quarter as well, or first quarter as well, sorry. So you can see right now, this is the drive that Kenishious football is all about.
We're inside the Willoughby Insurance red zone. 1st and 10 from the 20 as Hernandez gets one move and then hit hard around the line of scrimmage. The Red Raiders were ready with Luke Fleshman on the hit, and now a flag comes in.
Joe, look at the helmet on the field as well. So there's a helmet that came off, and that seems to be when that flag was thrown.
So Amir Hernandez is going to have to come off for the next play, as the officiating crew is still discussing. And now here is the call.
Personal foul. Face mask, number 55, defense, half the distance to the goal. It'll be short of the 1st down. Replay 1st down.
William Wortcutter is called on the penalty. He came back in after being shaken up earlier on this drive. Kenishious, after the St. Francis personal foul, is going to get even closer to the red zone. We're down to 7:35 left in the second quarter. As we take a look once again, a lot of chaos right now on the field. So many bodies we mentioned about. The emotions are very high here tonight. And now Kenishious, now with a 1st and goal opportunity. Ball is now spotted inside the 10-yard line. Brusco drops, it's back, it's caught. A battle inside the red zone. And just short, making the grab, a huge grab, was Jack Cullinan. And now 2nd and goal coming up inside the goal line.
Joe, there may be a major injury in this game that we haven't seen that we're going to talk about in a second. Look at that, nice quick throw, that out, and then you get the out right there, and you can see just almost got into the end zone right there. So there's an injury inside the end zone right there. It's a St. Francis player, and it looks like right now Dom Cook may not be coming back into this game. Dom Cook is on the sideline with crutches himself right now, and his knee is wrapped up. So that is a key injury right now of a player that we've talked about inside this game of having a big impact in this game. Something to watch out for as this game progresses on as well.
7:06 left in the first half and ticking. 2nd and goal. Kenishious is right on the St. Francis 1-yard line. Here is the snap. Kimball dives over, and he is into the end zone for the touchdown. It's brought to you by Kaleida Health. Kaleida Health, the official healthcare provider of the Buffalo Bills. Elijah Kimball with the run. As we take a look once again at this one, Elijah Kimball with his 12th rushing score of the season in his junior campaign. Take a look once again.
And he just goes right over the top there into the end zone. You know he had the attitude, I am not going to be denied for this one, as he goes up and over and in. And now is that deep breath you can take over there. Now we're back into the ball game.
Kenishious now lining up for 2 points. And there is movement before the play can get underway.
So they were obviously going to go for 2 on this one. Now, depending on who's against.
False start. Offense, number 63. 5 yards from the previous spot.
Okay.
Still play the try.
So now you're going to reconsider this and not go for 2. My assumption is you're seeing different personnel come out. Now you're going to go kick the extra point because you've been moved farther away.
Kenishious able to get on the scoreboard. And now the extra point attempt is coming up. Max Barr with the kick. It is up, and it is good. So Kenishious gets on the board for the first time tonight. Elijah Kimball with the 1-yard score. The Crusaders now trail by 15. We'll be right back with more of the Law Office of William Batar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing. Tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by Buffalo Fresh Roof. Kenishious getting on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. Elijah Kimball with a 2-yard score. Then the extra point is good from Max Barr. 22-7 is our score. And Tommy, you just noticed the St. Francis sideline now with 2 players down. Landon Govan, who we saw early on, get carted off. He is on crutches. Still a lot of time left of this one, but 2 big players now likely not coming back if they're on crutches.
And I'll tell you, that ball was tipped right there, right to the...
Here comes St. Francis, making their way past the 40 and brought down close in midfield as we have some more pushing and shoving, and now a flag comes in.
There was a first flag thrown out there, so that is a second flag. This should be an unsportsmanlike conduct, that last one. we got to wait and see what that first flag was out there as well to see if it's going to be offsetting now or two go against one team.
Mike Ziglis about to make the call.
This just shows the passion that is involved in this game. I have never seen a sideline that every single play that you see an entire sideline go crazy on. It's been happening all night long, and it is because there is so much passion in this game that these teams are out here to truly play for their school and to say, we're the Monsignor Martin champions.
And so much at stake going into the postseason, too. It's a battle, both teams trying to fight for that #1 seed.
There are 2 penalties on the plate. Hold on the kicking team, hold on the receiving team. Those penalties offset, replay the kick.
And both programs coming in with high expectations as Kenishious finished the runner-up last year in the Catholic State Tournament. St. Francis trying to make a deep run for the first time in program history, as here was Jerome Clark on the return and then hit out of bounds by Matthew Enright, and then some more going on the Kenishious sideline as Clark is lost in around a host of Crusader helmets. So now 6:44 left.
So it looks like we're going to see a re-kick is what we're going to see right now. So they're going to re-kick this one, and we're going to pretend that it didn't even happen and go ahead and try to re-kick and start over.
Now Kenishious makes its way back to the field, as this is Mason Anderson on your screen. He is one of the top receivers for St. Francis, also on the special teams. Anderson with 9 touchdown catches offensively. And
Mason also with multiple Division I offers that have come his way as well. I'm going to tell you, folks, in Western New York, there is amazing of the amount of Division I offers between both of these teams. We've got standouts on both sides of the ball that will be representing us in Western New York on Saturdays.
Coming up here at halftime, once again, it's the UB Bulls halftime show. UB Bulls football, family, affordable fun. We'll showcase our Athletic Associate Center Scholar athletes presented by Dr. Todd Shakin and show you a lot of exciting highlights from across the country from our Thursday Night Lights and Friday Night Rivals series. First half highlights in this one and more. It is the UB Bulls halftime show. We had a thriller on Thursday night, myself and Scott Pilkey. It was Lancaster narrowly beating Lancaster over Niagara Falls 20-14. Came down to the last play. The Wolverines had one last shot, but now Lancaster moves on to the Class AA semifinal this Friday night. And here is a good kick from Max Bear that goes into the end zone for a touchback.
And Lancaster's present is to face the Bennett Tigers, which is the #1 seed out there. But there is no stranger that Lancaster is to Highmark Stadium. Their goal is to get back there and do it again. 7 straight years they've done it. They're looking to make it #8, and they're going to have probably the toughest run they ever had, as they're going to have to take down the Tigers to do it.
Should be a good one on Friday night at All High Stadium, as we have 6:44 left in the second quarter. Along with Tom Prince, I'm Joe Kraus. You're watching a special edition, Saturday night edition of Thursday Night Lights right here on My TV Buffalo. Big thanks to our sponsors, the Law Office of William Attar and Stellar Roofing. As St. Francis with the offense starting this drive with the ground game, and Kenishious with a shortstop, Terrence Schufert Jr., in on the tackle for the Crusaders.
And that's a big stop right there, because what the positive has been for this St. Francis offense has been running the ball. Whether it's Buttles or whether it's been Tyrone Clark Jr., it's been both of them running the ball for success. So you, as a defensive line, have to make sure right now you hold your ground and make sure those gaps are filled by linebackers so that you can't run through the middle.
2nd and 10 from the 20. The pass is caught here by Anderson. He gets past the 25-yard line. A good short catch for Mason. It now sets up 3rd and short coming up.
There's a quick replay. Look at after that run, look at the quick out. That's what you want to do. After you turn around and you're seeing that defensive line get penetration, you got to get out past them. So what do? A quick out, get it out to one of your main receivers, let him try to do something, and then Amir Hernandez comes in and makes the tackle.
3rd and 4 coming up. St. Francis with the handoff. Clark gets the carry, spins his way past the 30. He gets enough to keep the chains moving. Jerome Clark Jr. with a first down here for St. Francis, and it is brought to you by Express Windows. The ball is now spotted on the 32. About a gain of 6 on the last carry with just over 5 minutes to go before the halftime break.
And right now, if I'm St. Francis, keep that clock moving. If they could come down and score and take as much of that 5 minutes off that clock as they can, boy, that would be one positive momentum to go into that locker room and really talk about the positive things your team has done.
1st and 10. Here is Buttles in the shotgun. Buttles takes it himself, keeps the chains moving, and then brought down just past the 35-yard line. A huge hit from the Kenishious defense. Looked like it was Schufert again on the stop as Littleton came in for the second hit. The ball now at the St. Francis 36.
And a great job. You can see fake there, keep it himself, go right up the middle. But Kenishious closed that hole up very quickly because you saw it open up, but they closed it very quickly to be able to make that tackle.
2nd and 5 coming up at the St. Francis 36-yard line. Buttles is in the shotgun. Clark is the lone man in the backfield. Here's the handoff. Clark gets the carry, tries to move towards the left side of the offensive line, but the Crusaders were ready. A huge play. Wayne once again on the stop. Caden Wayne, we've said his name a few times, a 6'2" senior. The ball now spotted at the 36. And a big play coming up. 3rd and 6 coming up.
You said that perfectly, Joe. This is a big play for St. Francis because there is more than enough time still in this half for Kenishious to try to get down and score and make this a one-score game. So you extending this drive becomes very, very important to not change the momentum in this game.
Buttles in the shotgun. 2 receivers on Buttles' right with 3:18 left in the second quarter and a timeout.
Red Raiders.
Timeout is called by St. Francis with 3:18 to go in the second quarter. St. Francis had a 15-0 lead at the end of the first, and we will step aside as well. 3:18 left in quarter number 2. We'll be right back right now on My TV Buffalo. And coming up during the fourth quarter of tonight's game, we'll be highlighting the school bus stop of the game presented by NHTSA. The law in every state requires drivers to always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. Again, in the fourth quarter tonight, the school bus stop of the game. There's the Kenishious faithful right on cue.
And how apropos is that when they're all in their construction uniforms? Were you supposed to stop there as well and make sure that you obey the rules of the road with them standing out there as well?
Absolutely. As Halloween has come and gone here in 2025, we were out in Lancaster Thursday. SpongeBob SquarePants was in the crowd out in Lancaster. As we now have 3rd and 6 coming up for St. Francis out of the timeout. Ball is spotted on the Red Raiders 36. Trent Buttles is in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He looks towards the near side. It is caught A heads-up play, big catch from Matthew Zielinski all the way to the Red Raider 40-yard line before he got hit by Kimball. Zielinski able to make the catch with 3 minutes to go. This is going to be 4th and 1 coming up.
You can see Buttles gets the ball out quickly right there. Great throw to him, and really threw it where only he could catch that. But Kimball does a great job of making sure that's not a first down and gets him down before those chains could move.
Zielinski closing in on 20 catches this season, and now movement in the trenches.
Dead ball, encroachment, defense, number 33, 5 yards from the previous spot. That'll be enough yardage for a first down.
So with the Kenishious unfortunate error, unfortunately coming from Terrence Schuffer Jr., it's an Express Windows first down for St. Francis, now on their own 46-yard line with 2.5 to play. Buttles steps in the shotgun. Clark is on his right hip. Buttles takes the snap. He looks. Keeps looking. Then fires over the middle. It is incomplete. As St. Francis was looking there for Aiden Hopwood. Now 2nd down and 10 coming up.
Joe, I think that ball got tipped too, and that was a big reason why that didn't look like it was a good throw. So it got tipped and made it almost impossible to get that as a completed pass.
So 2nd and 10 coming up on the Red Raiders 45-yard line. St. Francis coming into tonight with a 7-1 record, winners in each of their last 5 contests. A close 35-28 victory against McDowell from Pennsylvania last week. Buttles back in the gun. He takes the snap. He looks, steps up in the pocket, evades the pressure, skips away from it, crossing midfield, and all the way down to the Kenishious 46-yard line. Trent Buttles getting away like a magician all the way into Florida territory with under 2 minutes to go.
But it's the yards after contact. Watch this. He'll take off right here in a second. You'll see takeoff. Here it goes. There's 1 hit. He breaks through. There's 2 hits, breaks through. 3 hits, breaks through, gets tackled on the 4 hit. There's only 1 quarterback here in this area that lands in Orchard Park that does things like that, and he's playing in the NFL.
3rd and 2 coming up. It's a low snap. Clark gets the carry and rolls his way all the way to the Kenishious 45. And now, with 1:20 left to go here in the second quarter, after the tackle from Matthew Zielinski, short gain, and now waiting for the call of where the ball will be spotted after the last run. It's going to be 4th down in inches coming up on the Kenishious 45. Now a timeout is taken. 1:13 to go in the second quarter. Kenishious trailing St. Francis 22-7. Interesting play, 4th and short coming up.
But right now, this is an important play for both teams. If Kenishious can make the stop, there is still enough time for you to try to do something and put points on the scoreboard. Flip it on the other side. If St. Francis can get this first down, what they enhance doing is they are going to finish with the ball in their possession and make sure that Kenishious can't do anything more this half. Looks like they're measuring.
Awaiting the call. Going to be short.
About a foot is what he said.
It's going to be short. 4th and less than a yard with 1:13 left to play in this contest. And we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. Joe Krause and Mr. Energetic Tom Prince in this one. And St. Francis jumping out, scoring the first 15 points of our game. And now they're trying to continue this drive here back in Kenishious territory.
And it is. It's big important right now because it would mean, does St. Francis keep the momentum going in halftime, or does Kenishious get one more shot before we go to half?
And let's see, 4th and less than a yard. Here's the carry to Clark, crossing over. It gets enough for the first down, which is brought to you by Express Windows. Under a minute remaining And the ball now will be spotted at the Kenishious 44. A very big 2-yard gain and then some from Clark to keep their drive going. First and 10. Buttles steps out of the pocket and then finally brought down in the backfield. That is what Kenishious needed as the clock is down to 43 seconds and ticking. A huge play and another timeout on the field. The Kenishious defense pinning back the Red Raiders to the Crusaders 48, and that one, Tom, coming from Terrence Shuford once again.
And a great job. Did you see the penetration he gets into the backfield? That's what it's all about. If you could penetrate and you then can use that speed that you possess, you're going to make plays just like that.
Shuford, after making the stop, is now on the sideline. 42 seconds left in this first half. St. Francis calling its final timeout. Shuford now getting looked at on the sideline. And Terrence Shuford, only a freshman, but making an impact early as we take a look once again.
You can see he hung on for dear life onto that ankle to make sure he couldn't break anything open right there. But you got to expect from this point on, you're going to see St. Francis probably go to the air here a little bit. And it's for two reasons. Not only because you've got a quarterback that possesses an arm that can make things happen, but also if you have an incomplete pass, it stops the clock and still allows you to try to do something to finish off this first half.
So let's see, with 42 seconds left before the halftime break. It is 2nd and 13 from the Kenishious 48. Buttles with the snap. Fires over the middle. It is incomplete and almost intercepted by the Kenishious defense. Amir Hernandez, who had a couple big interceptions early on in the season. He's a little shaken up after the play. Let's take a look again.
Yeah, he comes back. This is exactly what we expected. You see him go over the middle, and it's just on the outside of where his receiver could get it, just off his fingertips out of the way. But Amir Hernandez read it well as well and almost comes up with a big play. The only question now for Kenishious, is Amir Hernandez okay? Because he's still on the ground.
So Kenishious with an injury timeout with 30 seconds left in the second quarter. Hernandez has been Mr. Everything, to say the least, so far this year. Going into tonight with 10 rushing touchdowns, and defensively he has been a part of the interception department. 2 interceptions tied for the team high with Jaden Hawkins, who is also out with injury. And Hernandez, in his senior campaign, wearing the special number 1 jersey tonight for Kenishious. He is being checked out now with 36 seconds left to go. It's a part, Tom, of that tradition at Kenishious, wearing the number 1 jersey that's rotated out every week. Amir Hernandez getting a look on, but again, wearing that number 1, it's a part of a huge tradition.
It really is. And to be a senior that's looking to go on to the next level, that's something that you take a lot of pride in. It's something that you remember Syracuse has done with number 42. When schools do that, you take pride in the fact that you're going to be that man that's going to take a tradition and keep it moving on. And you truly do get that honor. And he is a football player that deserves that honor.
3rd and 13. And now some more whistles. And a timeout called by Kenishious.
Timeout this half.
Kenishious now calling their second charge timeout of the half with 36 seconds left to go. 22-7 is our score. And just going back to more, Amir Hernandez, Kenishious rotates out the number 1 jersey each week, named after, in honor of their former classmate who passed away last year. And now 36 seconds left to go in the first half. Coming up at the halftime break, we will show you once again the UB Bulls halftime show. And we'll also catch up with St. Francis head coach right now, the team in the lead, Jerry Smith. Then we'll step aside for a break, and then our UB Bulls halftime show, showcasing our Athletic Associates Center Scholar athlete for the final time this season. That is once again brought to you by Dr. Todd Chackin And we also have highlights from across the country from our games this past Thursday and Friday. 3rd and 13. St. Francis in Kenishious territory. Buttles drops back to pass. He steps in, feeling the pressure. Gets away from Wayne. Steps it outside and out of bounds. All the way to the Kenishious 40-yard line. And once again, Caden Wayne had him, but Buttles was able to evade the pressure.
And that's that yards after contact. We keep talking about it. And this is a quarterback that will keep doing it all game if you're not going to hit him down. So here you go. Take a look. He's looking, obviously, great coverage downfield. He steps up into the pocket, uses that speed to break it to the outside, and to be able to turn what could have been a negative play into a positive play. 4th
and 7 with Buttles rolling towards the near sideline. Buttles stepping in. He fires on the run, and it is, well, incomplete. And now a flag comes in after the play. Interesting to see who this flag will be against. It was 4th down.
Yeah, those late flags are never good flags because it normally means there's some sort of personal foul that gets called when it's that late. Because we're looking going, okay, well, Kenishious is going to take over on downs now. And then, boom, there comes the flags come flying out.
You got a number? Ineligible receiver downfield, offense number 55. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is an incomplete pass, turnover on downs, 1st down.
So Kenishious is able to get St. Francis's offense off the field. They'll have one last shot, 17 seconds left before the halftime break. Kenishious was able to get a 2-yard score from Elijah Kimball earlier in this quarter. But tonight, the first turnover on downs, it goes against St. Francis.
And now you kind of wait to see what happens. Does Kenishious want to take a shot or knee it and go to halftime? Obviously, it looks like they're going to go for this and try to take one shot because they know their offense sometimes just needs one play to make something happen.
1st and 10 from the 40. Here is a run play from the Crusaders, crossing over midfield. Down to 10 seconds. Kenishious does have one timeout with 9 seconds remaining. The ball is now spotted on the Red Raiders 48. Express windows 1st down, and now the ball has been spiked with 6 seconds to go.
So obviously didn't use that timeout. They were waiting for something here. Whether they're going to try to do a quick out and kick a long, try to go for a long field goal, or do you think you can get a good chunk of yardage somewhere in the middle of the field and then call a quick timeout? So obviously there's a couple of things that they can do right now as an offense with that timeout still available to them.
Only 6 seconds left before the halftime break. First and 10 from the St. Francis 48. Brusco is in the shotgun. Brusco takes a snap. He rolls towards his right, throws up a deep one, and it is intercepted by St. Francis. As time expires, the pick is good for who else? Trent Buttles. So that will conclude our first half of action. St. Francis on top of Kenishious 22-7. The Red Raiders, Tom, with all 3 of their touchdowns in the ground game, and also 2 interceptions off Mateo Brusco, and that leads to our 22-7 halftime lead.
Right now, Kenishious, one of the things you know they're going to discuss. We got to clean up the flags. We got to clean up the turnovers, and that's going to be the recipe for us to get back into this game. And instead of making turnovers, you got to cause turnovers.
And so the St. Francis Red Raiders on top of the Kenishious Crusaders 22-7. Joe Krause and Todd Prince up in the booth as we have the longtime head coach from St. Francis, Jerry Smith, with us down on the field. And Jerry, you have all 3 of your touchdowns coming from the ground game in the running department. How has running the ball been a big impact here tonight?
Well, our offensive line is moving them off the ball. I expect them to shore that up a little bit, so it's going to become a little bit more difficult. But I think that we're going to have to throw the ball a little bit too to create some openings in the run game, because they're kind of low, trying to load the box a little bit. They did in the beginning. We gashed them, and then now they're kind of getting more with the outside linebacker blitz. So.
Coach, talk about how important it was to get off to this fast start, getting 2 touchdowns quickly and get that lead for that sideline and the belief on that sideline.
It's huge, obviously, if you can start fast and sustain that energy. But we're playing a real good team over there, and you saw that, they're going to get their yardage. You ain't going to hold those running backs in that team to a lot less yardage. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a dogfight in the second half.
Well, Jerry, we appreciate your time. Best of luck in the second half.
Okay, thank you.
Once again, Jerry Smith, the halftime coaching in front from St. Francis, 22-7 over Kenishious. Joe Kraus, Tom Prince with you as we roll to halftime here in Apple Springs. The Red Raiders on top of rival Kenishious, 22-7. We'll be right back with more on My TV Buffalo.
You're watching the UB Bulls Halftime Report.
Our score at halftime, St. Francis leads Kenishious 22-7. And right now, once again, from Dr. Todd Shakin, it's the Athletic Associate Center Scholar Athlete of the Week. And from Kenishious High School, it is Dylan Vaughn. His athletic achievements include being a 3-year letterman for varsity football and a 4-year letterman for varsity track. Dylan has hit second honors every quarter his junior year, and his community involvement includes volunteering at the Batavia Salvation Army Food Pantry. This All-Star is now entered for a $5,000 scholarship at the end of the season. Congratulations to Dylan Vaughn, our Athletic Associate Scholar Athlete of the Week. Once again, our halftime score is St. Francis up by 15 points. You're watching the law office of William & Tarr's special Thursday Night Lights right here on My TV Buffalo.
You're watching the UB Bulls Halftime Report.
And welcome back. St. Francis on top of Kenishious 22-7. And each week during halftime of our broadcast, we'll be showcasing outstanding Thursday night lights and Friday night rivals game highlights from across the country. Here's some of the best from this past week's games.
The best Thursday night lights and Friday night rivals highlights from across the country.
He's going to heave it deep right down the middle of the field and going up to get the football. Did he come down with the football?
Yes,
he did.
Sir.
What a catch right there from Kaleem Taylor.
Allen Moore with pressure on the backside and swoop. That ball's on the ground and picked up. This is going to be a scoop and score. Jaden Millhouse to the house. Outlaw Casa.
Downfield, intercepted. It's going to be picked off by Holmes. Here he comes to the near side, and Holmes trying to pick up blocks. Cuts it back the other way. Holmes still on his feet. Holmes, will it be a pick six? Yes, it will. Fate to the end zone, trying to make the one-handed catch. Tremendous effort over there by Isaiah Ivey. Call it a touchdown.
That was 4th and 10. Chased out of the pocket. Launches it down the field. And it is caught. It's a touchdown.
Oh, my goodness.
What in the world?
Playmaking ability from Court.
Beachy to the end zone. Touchdown.
Oh, my
The
goodness.
final play of the game. What a moment.
Got your way. QB sneak wins the game. That's a fitting end of the season, don't you think?
All of the emotions.
A lot of big finishes as you take a look at our press box. St. Francis on top of Kenishious by 15. We'll be right back after this short break.
You're watching the UB Bulls Halftime Report.
And welcome back to St. Francis High School. The Red Raiders up top over Kenishious 22-7. Joe Kraus, Tom Prince, and the gang with you as we take a look at the first half highlights. And right from the start, Mateo Brusco is pass intercepted by Andre Amos. And from there, Tom, St. Francis able to keep it going with a lot of big plays in the ground game.
That's exactly what happened. We saw two almost exact runs. First it's Buttles, and the next one we're going to see as Clark Jr. is doing almost the same exact thing down to that side of the end zone.
St. Francis, as we mentioned, now with 31 rushing scores on the season. As you can see, Tyrone Clark Jr. finding daylight. That big run giving St. Francis the 15-0 lead. Clark would then score again inside the 5-yard line to give St. Francis the 22-0 lead. Kenishious able to counter back with its star running back Elijah Kimball from 2 yards out. The extra point from Max Bear is good. Our current score, St. Francis on top of Kenishious 22-7. You take a look at the first half stats. St. Francis dominating, especially in the running game in total yards, but 22-7 is our current score. We do have Kenishious head coach Craig Krasinski down on the sideline as we welcome you back in here to St. Francis High School. Joe Kraus and Todd Prince with you. And now, Craig, just your thoughts and getting ready for the second half. How do you look to counter this second half?
Well, we can't turn the ball over on the first drive like we did the first time. We need to win at the point of attack. We didn't win that in the first quarter. I thought about 8 minutes left in the second quarter, I thought we did a better job with that. We were able to get into them guys a little bit.
Coach, what's the message in the locker room to the team?
Just keep fighting like hell, man. They play these games are 48 minutes, and so far we're only halfway through. So that's the message. Just keep fighting.
Well, Craig, we appreciate your time as we get ready for the second half. Thank you again.
Thank you, fellas.
Once again, our halftime score: St. Francis on top of Kenishious 22-7. Joe Kraus, Tom Prince with you, and Tom, we heard from both Jerry Smith and Craig Krasinski. If you're in the coaching chair, hold that thought. We're going to step aside. It is St. Francis on top. This is my TV Buffalo. And welcome back. Start of the second half. St. Francis and Kenishious. Joe Kraus, Tom Prince, and the entire crew with you tonight. It's our final broadcast for the Thursday Night Lights series, coming to you live on a Saturday night here in Hamburg. As Tyrone Clark ready to return this. It's a nice kick from Max Bear. Going, takes a couple bounces and into the end zone for a touchback. Okay, Tom, we heard from Jerry Smith. We heard from Craig Krasinski. If you are Coach Tom Prince, how do you counter the second half if you're both St. Francis and Kenishious?
Coach Smith said it. They ran the ball great in the first half, but they're probably going to have to go to the air in the second half. And then the second exact thing you heard Coach Krasinski say, I think they have to go to the run first and then open up the pass. It's completely opposite, I think, what both coaches want to do to be successful in this game to try to go after a victory.
This is the 6th all-time meeting between Jerry Smith and Craig Kurzansky in this St. Francis Kenishious duel. Jerry Smith is 4-1 against Craig Kurzansky. The Red Raiders won the first 4 meetings before Kenishious had the big 55-34 victory last October. As the Red Raiders get going here in the ground game, another carry from Mr. Clark.
And really like that run by Clark, because what he was patient. You actually see the minute he gets up towards the line, he actually slows down a little bit. What he's doing is he's waiting for that hole to open up, waiting for his block to happen, and then go from there.
Trent Buttles is in the shotgun. It's another handoff. Looking for Clark. Good help on the left side of the offensive line for St. Francis before the quick stop. The Red Raiders coming in and continuing to make plays along the line of scrimmage and wind down the clock. Brooks Rumfola, Tommy Cousin, the left tackle and left guard respectively, as this sets up 3rd and 3 for St. Francis. Clark gets another carry and then gets over the 30, brought down from behind by Wayne of Kenishious. Jerome Clark Jr. able to get a big run, and it's a first down, brought to you by Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
This is textbook. Do not stop your legs. Watch this. He gets hit. It looks like it's going to be a stop. Spins, but because he keeps those feet moving, it's a first down right there.
Jerome Clark Jr. coming into tonight with averaging nearly 8 yards per carry. Also with 300-yard games on the season, and also now with 12 rushing scores on the year. He came in with 10, had the 75-yarder and the 5-yard score back in the first half. There is a stoppage on the field, an injury timeout. St. Francis Alex Bacon, part of that starting offensive line, is being taken over to the sideline.
I'll tell you, that may be the only thing right now that St. Francis may say that's negative about this game, is the guys that have come off because of injury right now. And we really hope that all of these young men, they're just nick-ups, they're going to be okay, and they get back on that field as soon as possible.
Here is Buttles evading the pressure, and the pass is incomplete. Just off the fingertips of Noah Violante. Beg your pardon, Matthew Zielinski, the intended receiver. Zielinski had a big catch back in the first half. 10:34 left in the third quarter. And third down coming up. Ball is spotted on the Red Raiders' 35-yard line. Third down and 7 yards to go. St. Francis needs to get to its own 42. Buttles in the shotgun. He drops back the pass. He looks towards the near sideline. It is caught. A big catch coming from Mason Anderson. Gets to the Red Raider 45-yard line. And now it's enough for a first down, brought to you by Interstate Batteries. Mason Anderson, a big catch, only a sophomore.
A sophomore with Division I offers already. And I'll tell you, he also has some of the most yardages in the Monsignor Martin Conference. This kid can catch the ball. He is an absolute threat to go vertical at any time.
Mason Anderson, well over 20 catches on the season and a team-high 9 receiving touchdowns. Red Raiders go to the ground game with Clark, makes his way past midfield and stopped at the Kenishious 49-yard line. We'll give credit to the Kenishious defender Terrence Schuford Jr. on the stop, but Terrell Clark Jr. continuing to turn 5-6 yard gains here.
And it's all because of the offensive line. You heard Coach Smith say at halftime he's been very impressed with his line. He expects to be more of a challenge here in the second half, but what could happen is what you're hoping to do as a coach, that these runs are going to set up some of the passing game for Buttles as we go deeper into the second half.
It was enough for 6 yards last time, and a timeout is taken by the officials. We have an injured player from Kenishious with 9:49 left, 2nd and 4 at the Kenishious 49-yard line. We'll step aside for an injury timeout. You're watching My TV Buffalo. Tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by Buffalo Fresh Roof. So Terrence Schufert Jr., who has been flying all over the place tonight for Craig Krasinski's defense at Kenishious, now getting checked out on the sideline. 2nd and 4 for St. Francis at the Kenishious 49, already with a 15-point lead. Clark cuts past the 45, still on his feet, past the 40. The ball comes loose out of bounds. This will stay with St. Francis possession, as there was a poke from behind by the Crusaders. St. Francis still with possession.
Buttles does a great job. Do you see how long he held that ball before he hands it off? That's really is hard for the defenders to see, so they don't know who gets that ball to go after, and then Clark takes off the minute it actually gets in his hands.
It's enough for an Interstate Battery's first down. Elijah Kimball had the forced fumble that went out of bounds, and now the Red Raiders keep the chains moving. It's another short carry for Tyrone Clark, as forcing fumbles, just 2 on the season for Kenishious, as the clock continues to go. Just over 9 minutes left in the third. St. Francis now at the Kenishious 35-yard line. As you take a look, the battle in the trenches once again. Buttles is in the shotgun. Buttles on the QB keeper. He rolls to the outside, still on his feet, and then gets down at the Kenishious 25-yard line. Another QB keeper for Trent Buttles.
But he's just a threat with his legs or his arms, and that's right, proof of it right there. But you can see that was designed. You can see he took off right the minute he got that ball in his hands, gets right out to the sideline.
Another first down for the Red Raiders, as Clark finds his way up the middle of the offensive line. A good way coming from the offensive line for St. Francis, including Brooks Full at number 68, getting another big setup for Clark, as we now have a timeout on the field with 8:32 left in the third quarter. Kenishious calls a timeout. St. Francis knocking on the door for another score.
And this may be the perfect start to the third quarter for St. Francis, because what they're doing is the controlled run, controlling that clock, and it's exactly what they did in the first half, and haven't had to make any changes on what they were already doing and winning in that way in the first half.
Well, as we said, Tom, it's a historic night, as both Jerry Smith and Craig Krasinski are right at the top. You can see Jerry Smith, 7th all-time in total wins here with 201. Craig Krasinski of Kenishious is at 181 wins. Kurt Fisher is the only other active coach, 4th all-time at 243. And get this, Tom, Johnny Barnes from Kenishious, he retired in 1973, and he still has the most wins in Western New York at 287. That's pretty impressive.
And I have the honor of my son being coached by Gene Tundo, who is also on that list. And I'll tell you, there are names there that are truly the creme de la creme of coaches here in Western New York.
Jerry Smith recorded his 200th win 2 weeks ago against Bishop Timon. He has been with the Red Raiders program since 1981. As an assistant under Ray Carney, then took over to be the head man in 1988. As we move back to the action, a short run and a flag comes in at the end of the play. Waiting for the call, and as we mentioned about Craig Krasinski, his 31st year coaching high school football, the majority of his time at Williamsville South.
Personal foul, face mask, defense number 33. Half the distance to the goal from the end of the run, first down.
St. Francis knocking on the door after the big flag, as you see Craig Krasinski having a lot of success in Section 6 with Williamsville South, especially in the late 2000s and 2010s. He also has a big coach on his coaching staff. Former North Tonawanda coach Eric Jancy is now the offensive line coach at Kenishious. Jancy was at the North Tonawanda Hall of Fame ceremony this morning to celebrate the 2009 state championship team, as St. Francis continuing to run the ball Eric Jancy, a big run at Kenishious, longtime friend of Craig Krasinski.
And his son was also a top player here in Western New York for the Kenishious Crusaders as well. A great player and really showed on the defensive side of the ball how good he was as well. And I'll tell you, folks, we're watching Buttles do it again on this drive with his legs. There's a reason this young man's got multiple Division I offers already, and he is proving it out here today.
It's a 2nd and goal run. The Red Raiders go up the middle, and then Brock Bildfeld, number 63, able to make the stop. Bildfeld listed at 6'7", 315 pounds from Cottam, Ontario. Now coming over to Western New York to play for Coach Krasinski. 3rd and goal coming up. The run to Clark, fighting his way close to the goal line. And it is going to be short, just close inside the 1-yard line.
But what's happening right now in this drive, we're about to eclipse the 5-minute mark that they have possessed the ball, and they're going to move quickly right here.
Alex Bacon now under center. As Buttles on the QB keeper, he takes it himself, takes a little bump, trying to fight his way in. And this is going to be short. A huge turnover on downs from the Kenishious defense.
Watch on this one, number 4, Delone Floyd. Did you see the way he actually got access into the backfield? He gets into the backfield and comes from behind to be able to help make that stop so it couldn't happen. Take a look. Watch number 4 here. See him get in the backfield, gets into the backfield, gets right into the mix, and helps make that stop right there.
What a huge play from Kenishious. And another reminder coming up in the 4th quarter. Stay tuned for our school bus stop of the game presented by NHTSA. Again, that'll be coming up in the 4th quarter. We have 6:43 left in quarter number 3. Kenishious, after forcing the turnover on downs, Dallin Floyd, the sophomore, with the big stop, part of the huge unit from Kenishious. The goal line stance will now take over, trailing only by 15 points.
Well, we got a moment. Why don't we thank who's normally here, your partner, Scott Pilkey, as his team at ECC gets a victory over Hocking today, and they advance to try to go on for a national championship. Congratulations to ECC and Scott Pilkey.
It is a huge season, a lot of success for the Erie Community College Cats. Their new stadium is getting the final touches down in Orchard Park. But Scott Pilkey, a lot of success with that group.
Actually, they're up at it's North Towns they put that field in. And what they got a baseball field, softball field. It is unbelievable. And the stands there are unbelievable as well.
1st and 10 for Kenishious inside the 5. It's a ground game and some movement on the right side of the offensive line as a Crusader is slow to get up after the carry. 6:31 left in the 3rd quarter. We have an injury timeout for Kenishious. This is Owen Scott. St. Francis on top of Kenishious 22-7 at the moment. Scott is getting some assistance from the athletic trainers.
Take a look, Kibble trying to get into that hole. There's just no hole for him to run through. The fact that he even gets some extra yards is all because of him and be able to try to push that pile just to get those extra yards.
So Scott is still being monitored. Junior offensive lineman, part of the starting rotation for the Crusaders, who come in tonight with a 5-3 record. Kenishious coming off 2 straight wins against St. Andrews and Huron Heights. Last weekend, it was senior day for Kenishious as well with that big win over Huron Heights. And as we get ready for the postseason run here, Todd, for Kenishious and St. Francis, they're both fighting for this number 1 seed, but a lot still in store as we cross into November for both of these teams.
Oh, absolutely. But it is a place where you want to play a home game, and especially as this weather starts to change. We've seen the wind. We've seen the rain. We know that S word is about to come because that snow is coming, and you want to make sure you got home field advantage.
2nd down, 7 yards to go from the 5-yard line as the Crusaders go up the middle, a short gain for Hernandez. The rain that we experienced in the pregame has stopped, but right now just 44 degrees. Wind gusts up to 7 miles per hour. That was heavy rain as we were making our way down on the field earlier tonight.
And we've been lucky because there was a weather shift, because we thought there was going to be possible rain. And remember last night we were dealing 40 to 50 mile an hour winds. Would have been very tough to pass the ball with that lake and those winds coming off that lake if we had that weather.
6 minutes to go in the third. And Kenishious gets a low snap. Able to recover it was Brusco. And now it'll bring up second down. Taking a look once again at the Kenishious faithful. Everyone is still here. Anything can still happen. It's the one date that both these schools circled when the school year began back in September.
Nobody better be leaving this game right now. This is still, no one knows who's going to win this game. You shouldn't be going anywhere. Right now, you should be backing your team is all you should be doing.
2nd and 10 coming up with 5:20 to go. The ball spotted on the 11-yard line. 2nd and 10 from the 11 after the 2-yard loss. Brusco drops back to pass. He looks to the outside. It is caught. The Crusaders finding a big play in the passing game. Amir Hernandez gets close to the 20-yard line as we have under 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. This will set up 3rd and 3.
And a great job right there. I thought that was a perfect pass, a perfect call at that time. You can see they've been running up the middle. Now get the ball quickly to the outside to one of your playmakers, Amir Hernandez, and be able to get a positive gain, and now an opportunity to try to get a first down.
Gabe Oliveira is at center tonight for Kenishious. It's a 3rd and 3 play from the 20. It's a handoff. And making a couple big yards. Looked like it was on the carry, Quentin Littleton. It'll be enough here for Kenishious, as it is Terrence Shuford who was down after the last carry. And Shuford is now calling for some assistance here with 4:25 to go.
Yeah, he actually took his helmet off. And remember, we had to wait on one of the injury timeouts just a little while ago for him as well. So he is obviously a little banged up right now, and hopefully it's just some cramping issues. You hope he can really get them worked out and then get him out to the sideline so he can get back into this ball game.
We'll step aside for a short break. You're watching the law office of William Matar's Thursday Night Lights on a Saturday right here on My TV Buffalo. And welcome back. Late in the third quarter, a big thank you once again to our production team. Been working with them every single week on Thursday Night Lights. A lot of great crew working behind the scenes. A lot of great, hardworking men and women helping to make these broadcasts possible. As we have 4:25 to go, and it is Terrence Shuford getting looked at on the sideline. Here is the handoff. Amir Hernandez gets the outside, finds some open space. It crosses the 40-yard line. That will be enough for a first down, brought to you by Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable.
I don't know if you saw this. So first of all, great job by Hernandez to break that outside. Watch this. You're going to see Hernandez gets the ball and literally sees the hole closed up and breaks it outside. Once he breaks it outside, that's where those extra yards are coming for. But Brock Bildfeld who actually had his helmet taken off. That helmet came off his head where he was the middle of the field and went all the way to the Kenishious sideline is where that helmet went off and broke off to. So obviously that's what you saw everybody yelling at in the middle of the field because of the helmet and where it came off. And by the way, that was a great shot of our production truck. I don't know if you saw. They actually stood out and gave us a wave, too. So kudos to them to be able to get their shot out there because they're awesome. They've been great tonight.
First and 10 from the Kenishious 38-yard line as the Crusaders go to the ground game, but Kenishious is bottled up. We will give credit on that hit from William Workcutter, number 55, a star wrestler first at Wilson High School and now with the St. Francis Red Raiders, too, representing Niagara County on the hit. As now 2nd and 11 comes up. Kenishious offense back on the field.
I love his passion. Every time he makes a play, you'll see he's into it. You get the fist pump. You get everything you want out of him because he wants this for not only himself, his teammates, and all of St. Francis.
Ball now spotted at the Kenishious 37. We have 3 minutes to play in quarter number 3. Brusco in the shotgun, a handoff to Hernandez, finds the open seam, crosses the 45, and then gets stopped hard at the 45. A big hit coming from the outside. TJ Ware on the hit for St. Francis. It is a good run and a gain of 8.
So again, Amir Hernandez gets it to the outside. 2 tackles. Look at that. 2 guys go there. And then who do we see as one of the guys that are right in there? Buttle's right there on the defensive side, making a big play and making sure he makes that tackle.
3rd and 3 coming up. The train horn in full effect. Crusaders at the 45. It's a direct snap. Here is Kimball making his way over midfield to keep this drive going. It's another Interstate Batteries first down. Elijah Kimball with the big run and then brought down by Workcutter of St. Francis.
Joe, teams make adjustments from halftime. The adjustment that right now is happening for Kenishious, look at where the runs are all going. Everything's going to the right side of the line right now.
And Hernandez is on the latest carry, but there is a flag on the field as there is more flags with 2:03 left to go. Make that another flag after the play.
But every one of these runs are either going right to that right side. What they're trying to do is to find a weakness in the line that they can absolutely expose and get through a gap. And then when it's not there, they're breaking it farther to the outside and trying to cut it up the sideline and get a one-on-one matchup with the defensive back. I think we may see a couple of, obviously, flags here. We saw that one very late, and those very late ones are the ones that coaches just cringe on the sideline because they know what it could mean towards their team.
There are 2 penalties on the play, 1 live ball, 1 dead ball. Legal substitution, number 22, defense, 5 yards from the previous spot. After the play was over, personal foul, offense, 15 yards, first down.
So, Joe, we should see them march off the 1 penalty first, that'll be the 5-yard penalty, and then march off the 15-yarder right after that.
There's a look of Jerry Smith. Said, to say the least, he learned a lot from his mentor, Ray Carney. The two, when Smith was a player at the old Bishop Turner High School. It was originally Bishop Turner, then a merger with Archbishop Carroll in 1985. Then it was always Turner Carroll in 2003. But back in the day, Jerry Smith played for Ray Carney, and then Carney brought him in as an assistant. And he said he learned so much. As you can see, the counterpart, Craig Krasinski, taking a look on the field. Both coaches with such knowledge about the game, but also how to be teachers, not only in football, but in life in general. The list goes on and on of how many former players for both of them have gone on to big success.
And why so many players in Western New York want to come to each of these schools. because they want to play for each of these coaches because they know what it'll mean. If you can be successful under them, there's a good chance you're going to be successful at the next level.
So we resume play under 2 minutes left in the third quarter. First down for Kenishious at their own 41. Brusco drops back the pass. He rolls out to his right, still on the run. Then is hit, sent out of bounds at the Crusaders' 45-yard line. About a 4-yard gain here as we're approaching 1:43 and ticking here in quarter number 3.
You could almost say that was a coverage stop. I mean, obviously wasn't a sack, but the coverage was so good that he had to run the ball at that point, and then that's the reason for the short gain because of what they did covering the defensive players downfield.
Second down and a long 6 at the 45-yard line. Hernandez takes a direct snap. Hernandez makes his way close to midfield. He is brought down by the St. Francis defender in on the coverage. Luke Fleischman was in on the stop as we have 90 seconds to go in quarter number 3. Luke Fleischman has made a couple of big plays on defense for the Red Raiders. Ball now at the 49. 3rd and 14 coming up as Fleischman now in his junior campaign, former Pioneer Panther, starting to get a lot of interest. And he's looking to make another stop with his Red Raider defense. 1 minute to go. 3rd and 14. Brusco drops back the pass. He fires down the middle. It is incomplete as the Crusaders are looking for Noah Harrison for the deep ball. 4th down coming up.
Nice shot. I do like the idea. I do like the thought process, but you can see very well covered here by St. Francis. 2 defenders on him. You could see close in, but still almost comes up with a highlight reel catch right there.
Noah Harrison, a former Albion Purple Eagle, now in his junior campaign at Kenishious. One of the receivers for Mateo Brusco. And the Crusaders are now in punt formation. Harrison with a team-high 17 catches plus 2 touchdown scores coming into tonight. As Lucas Bonilla sends a high punt into the night sky, takes a couple bounces inside the 20. And St. Francis will take over just close to the 15 with 41 seconds left to go.
Even though we haven't had any scoring so far yet inside the second half, what St. Francis at least has done very well has controlled the ball. And really, they've kept the ball out of Kenishious' hands. And if you keep doing that, there's only so amount of many possessions left in this game, and you still have to score 2 times if you're Kenishious. So at least even if you're not going to put points on the board, you're keeping the ball away, and that's a positive right now for St. Francis.
St. Francis jumped out to a 15-0 lead at the end of the first quarter. Trent Buttles had the big play. It was like fireworks in the crowd after his 75-yard score. And now 41 seconds left in the third. Buttles is back in the shotgun. Clark on his hip. Here is the delayed handoff to Clark. He goes upfield and gets to the 17-yard line. This will be about a 2-yard gain as we have reached the last 30 seconds of quarter number 3.
You really think they're going to probably let this one go right down here to the fourth quarter. No need. There's no need to go ahead and do a play right here. You're the one with the lead. What you want to do is just keep that clock ticking, and as much as it can keep ticking, it is in your favor.
And so we reach the final 12 minutes of regulation time. Jerry Smith and St. Francis looking for their 5th win in the last 6 meetings with Kenishious. We'll be right back. Don't touch the dial. You're watching My TV Buffalo. first play of the fourth quarter, but we get flags. As you are watching.
False start. Offense, number 50, 5 yards from the previous spot, still second down.
You're watching a special Saturday edition of the Thursday Night Lights series presented by the law office of William Attar and Stellar Roofing. Watch right now on MyTV Buffalo as well as on our Facebook page. Big thanks to everyone tuning in tonight. Joe Kraus, Tom Prince, and the entire crew back in the truck as this is a quick scramble from Buttles. And now, after the QB keeper, it will be 3rd and long.
And it just shows now take away. If they don't have that penalty, he's going for a first down opportunity right there. That's a big penalty that they now need to try to overcome on this set of downs.
Ball is now spotted on the 19-yard line. Buttles is in the shotgun. Buttles takes the snap, looks towards the near side. It is caught, a huge hit. And going all the way past the 30-yard line. Another first down for St. Francis. Brought to you by Express Windows. Now installing windows for as low as $329 within 5 to 6 weeks. A good catch to the outside to Aiden Hopwood.
And Hopwood does a great job because he's led where only he can catch that as he extends his arms out and makes that play.
Fresh set of downs for the Red Raiders. At the 33, Buttles takes the QB keeper, goes up the middle past the 35. A short run and a tackle this time from number 3, Jason Love on the stop. 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7 coming up.
And every time he runs the ball like that, he's going to open up the passing opportunities for him. You heard Coach Smith say it. He wants to pass more in this half. Well, if he's going to run like that, guess what? You've got to make sure you're defending him from being able to run the ball, which makes it harder. Sometimes you're going to get one-on-one matchups then with the receivers.
Buttles in the shotgun. It is Hopwood the motion man. Buttles takes it himself, gets to the outside, and then brought down at the 43, but we do have a flag on the field.
You can see they're talking it over right here.
Once again, Mr. Mike Ziglis.
Personal foul, chop block, offense, 58 and 62, 15 yards from the previous spot, replay, 2nd down.
So that hurts. Really, it's different when you're talking about a hold. Now you're talking about a chop block, which is considered a personal foul, and now you're talking about 15 yards of a penalty. Now you've got a lot to overcome right here.
So St. Francis moves all the way back towards its back door. Ball now spotted on the 20-yard line. Trent Buttles is in the shotgun. 2nd and 22. Buttles takes the snap. He rolls out, then moves towards his left, stepping up in the pocket. He fires on the near side. A heads-up play, but incomplete. The pass is incomplete, and the intended receiver is Aiden Hopwood.
We've done so many games together, Joe, and I'll tell you, normally when you see a quarterback, what you see is they're either great runners or they're great passers. They can do both, but they're not great at both, and that's something that Buttles is really great at. He can throw the ball, he can run with the ball, and look at that. Did you see the form there? He rolls out, and he makes sure those hips turn, facing the receiver, gets the right form so he can get that pass off and almost makes a spectacular play right there.
3rd and 22 coming up. Buttles in the shotgun. He looks towards his right, still looking, now steps up towards his left, goes past one man, still on his feet, and then crosses after a big run past the 30-yard line. He is brought down by Terrence Schufert Jr. on the stop. A good QB scramble once again.
One of the hardest tackles to make is an open field tackle. He doesn't make that tackle, and there's a chance Buttles goes on for a first down right there. But you got to give Shuford huge props right now. Because of that tackle right there that you made, you saved an opportunity for a first down, and now it's a long fourth down opportunity, and possibly what we're probably going to see is a punt right here.
You can see on your screen Trent Buttles is shaken up as we take a look again, Tom, at the end of this play. Getting twisted by Shuford.
So you kind of see right there, Buttles is coming off. He looks like an ankle injury that he may have, or at least that it's banged up a little bit. But you saw that twist on the end right there, and now we understand why he kind of came off the field limping right there.
Clock has stopped after the injury with 9:32 left in regulation.
I think he's still on the field, though. I don't see him anywhere that came off the field. Because remember, he plays both ways, so he's going to play defense, and he's still out there. So you can see he's not coming off the field. He doesn't care what happened on that last play. He's staying in this game to make sure he tries to get a victory for his team. And he looks okay right now, walking at least back out there to the huddle.
So 4th and 14 after the short break. Ball spotted on the Red Raiders' 31-yard line. Buttles in the shotgun. Shuford calls it out on the defensive line. Buttles resets the scene. Still looking with one man in the backfield, and now it's going to be a punt. This will drop in at the 35-yard line. A sliding effort coming from the Crusaders. Noah Harrison. 9:22 to play. Kenishious with the football, down by 15.
Very important drive right here from Kenishious. I really believe this is a drive you have to put points on that scoreboard. You don't, you're going to make it very difficult, especially because we've seen these elongated drives right now by St. Francis, taking multiple time off that clock. You can't afford for another long drive for them because you got to get 2 scores. To me, this is a big drive right here that you've got to score on.
Mateo Brusco in the shotgun with Jason Love, the motion man. Here's a handoff up the middle. Elijah Kimball with a big burst past the 40-yard line. And then he is brought down quickly by the St. Francis defense. Just over 9 minutes left, and Trent Buttles is taking a seat, getting a look at, stretching out the leg, having that lower part of his leg monitored. 8-yard gain from Kimball, 2nd and 2, coming up at the Crusaders 42. The handoff up to Kimball. He finds a space on the left side of the offensive line, getting close to midfield, and it's another Express Windows first down, 8:44 in ticket.
And so far, this is the response that you wanted if you were a Kenishious fan right here. You could see it's Kimball right now. First down. He's got to keep this ball moving right now because that clock just keeps going down. And remember, 2 scores they need.
Kimball needed just 73 yards tonight to pass Isaiah McDuffie for 9th all-time in Western New York career rushing. It's another big run for the Crusaders, going all the way past the St. Francis 40. Another big run and another first down for Kenishious.
And remember, McDuffie plays on Sundays is what he does. The question will be, will we see this young man as he passes him on the list join him one day on a Sunday?
8:15 to go in the 4th quarter. It's another big run, but right there to stop it on the defensive line, Romello Dunn getting his first tackle, and now a flag comes in. Looked like there was some activity on the outside of the last run. As now Mike Ziglis, the officiating crew, getting their work in here tonight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'll tell you that. They are getting their work in, and we're going to see exactly what this flag is right here.
After the play was over, personal foul, number 26, defense, personal foul, number 1, offense. Those penalties offset, second down.
So offsetting penalties as the ball is now placed for Kenishious at the St. Francis 40.
And I'll tell you, this is a time that you don't want to mic on the coaches because I don't want to hear what they're saying when those flags happen.
8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Brusco takes the snap. Love is the motion man. Here is the handoff. No, reverse run for Kenishious. Getting to the outside, and St. Francis was ready. It was Kyle Beggar-ported Marco Hunt on the carry, but St. Francis was ready for the stop. In on the tackle, it was Jaden Jones.
Remember that open field tackle we talked about, Kenishious? This may be even more of a wow on this one. Check this hit out. As you can see, meets him right there and turns into be a loss instead of a positive play that we thought was going to go for something big.
3rd and 11 coming up for Kenishious at the 41. Tyrone Clark with that last tackle. Brusco in the shotgun. Hernandez the motion man. It's a handoff to Kimball. Kimball gets to the outside, going down the Crusaders sideline and gets out of bounds close to the St. Francis 10-yard line. Elijah Kimball with another Express Windows first down, another huge run. Kenishious back in the red zone.
Joe, there's a reason this is one of the top running backs in the country. Because not only can he be a power back, and you can see this is the power back to break through that hole, break through those 2 tackles. Now he shows this speed, which is unbelievable to get to the second level. And he is definitely a back that could do so many things. He's magic when the ball's in his hands.
Back in the Wilby Insurance red zone. Wilby will win, nobody will. Kenishious at the 10 after the gain of 31 from Kimball on the last carry. The pile keeps on moving. And then after a couple yards, a stop inside the defensive line for St. Francis.
This right here is what I expected from the beginning of the game. I expected Kenishious to come out and just try to pound the ball and keep pounding it. That's why I was so surprised early in the game how much they came out throwing the ball in this one. Now you're seeing them get back to what we thought it was going to be, and this is an opportunity for them to make this right now a one-score game with still plenty of time to make things happen if they can get in here quickly.
2nd and 5 for Kenishious at the St. Francis 7. It is Hernandez on the direct snap, gets to the outside, and scores. Amir Hernandez from 7 yards out. It's a Kaleida Health touchdown, the official healthcare provider of the Buffalo Bills. As you can see, the celebration from the Crusaders, now trailing 22-13.
So remember, they're going to go for a 1-point conversion right here. But this is something that will come into play. Remember that very first touchdown, that 2-point conversion, that trick play by Coach Smith. This could be the difference in this game as we see right now. If they convert this, it's an 8-point game.
Here is the kick from Max Baer. It is up and good. Amir Hernandez with his 11-yard rushing score. Grant Krasinski fired up after the big play. We'll be right back. You're watching My TV Buffalo. And coming up later tonight, it is our post-game ceremony. You can see our Southtowns trophy being designed and being presented for the post-game. Great look once again all season from the trophy designed by Southtowns Trophy. And Tom Prince will be going down with the winning team after the end of this one for the last time here on Thursday Night Lights. we'll be having our post-game report. Kenishious getting on the board. Line drive kick from Max Bear. And this goes into the end zone for a touchback with 6:12 to play. Amir Hernandez getting the score from 7 yards out. It's his 11th rushing score of the season for the Crusaders, who now only trail by 8.
So what did we say when they gave a shot and said if everyone's going to be going home? Yeah, you better not have, because this last 6 minutes could be a lot of sparks left in this one. Very important drive here for St. Francis. You've got to use this clock up as best as you can. Keep that ball moving. We're going to see a lot of running right now, especially by Buttles and Clark, but we're going to see a lot of it that hopefully keeps that clock moving if you're a St. Francis fan.
Jerome Clark Jr., 173 yards and 2 scores tonight, as the Red Raiders go back to the ground game to start this drive. We'll call it 3-4 yard gain for Clark. He has been the workhorse, of course, with his partner in crime, Dominic Clark Jr., out early on with the injury.
And if you remember the end of the first half, this was right about the time that was left on the clock that St. Francis used almost all of it up to the very end. The question is, this time, can they use it all the way up and try to get a victory?
2nd and 6. It's a handoff once again for the Red Raiders. Clark with a short gain. It's close to the 25-yard line as the clock ticks down to just over 5 minutes left. Once again, a reminder, tonight's closed captioning is exclusively brought to you by Buffalo Fresh Roof. 22-14, St. Francis leads Kenishious. The matchup that everyone has been talking about since September. Here's the handoff. Clark gets along a couple of yards, and you can see a wave of Kenishious defenders pushing Clark back. And now a big play coming up with under 4:45 to go.
This really could be the game right here. The question it becomes, does Coach Smith want to go for this? It is literally going to be, it looks like a yard, maybe a hair less than a yard right here, but the question will be, does Coach Smith want to go for it? Because if you don't, boy, you're giving Kenishious a very, very short field. This is a big, right now, play that you're going to call as a coach. What belief do you have in that line? Or what you could say is, what belief do you have in either your running back or your quarterback to make what could be the play of the game right now?
We have an injured player with 4:45 remaining, going down to the wire. Joe Kraus, Tom Prince with you in what has been a thriller. I mean, really, you couldn't script this up better, right, Tom? The Red Raiders jumping out to a 15-0 lead at the end of the first, and Kenishious now with the big wave, outscoring St. Francis 14-7 here in this second half.
You know, I do part of the rankings I do each week, and I've had St. Francis at number 1 since I saw them as they take on Community Memorial out of Massachusetts. And I'll tell you, they've lived up to in this game. There's still 4:45 where Kenishious can prove me wrong. The question will be, what's going to be the call on this next play?
It is 4th and 1. The ball is spotted on the St. Francis 29-yard line. Trent Buttles and the offense makes its way to the line of scrimmage. Terrence Schufert Jr. on the end for Kenishious, wearing number 33. Buttles with an empty backfield. He takes this himself. He finds his way, diving forward to the 30. And what a play from Trent Buttles to keep this moving, enough for a first down, brought to you by Express Windows.
Coach Smith is not intimidated. Either is Coach Otremba, who is the offensive coordinator. They both make a big call right here. Watch the patience, though. See right there, Buttles stops, sees there's no hole, takes it to the outside and gets that first down. That is pure athleticism, patience, and it's what you expect from a player that is considered to be up for Player of the Year here in Western New York.
Trent Buttles, only a junior, spent the past 2 years out in Rochester and Aquinas. He takes the snap, hand off to Clark. He gets stopped at the 31-yard line, teaming up Jason Love and Terrence Schufert Jr. on the stop. As we now have here from Athol Springs tonight, 3:50 to play and an 8-point game.
And right now, you almost wonder if this is the point of the game where St. Francis takes a shot throwing the ball. I want you to watch the setup right now of the defense when they come there, because Kenishious is stacking the box. That is that area inside the ends is what they're doing. They are putting almost all the players outside of a receiver right there. Do they keep stacking the box, and does St. Francis try to get somebody to come out to be able to make a big play? Look how many guys are in this box right now.
And before the next snap, a timeout.
Red Raiders, that's our second charge. Timeout this half.
St. Francis now with one timeout remaining here in the second half.
Again, we knew that Coach Smith was going to go for it. Obviously, you weren't going to say it until you obviously saw it. But we've seen so far he has been fearless in this game. And that also goes for Coach Otrema, because he's a part of making these calls as well. Both of these guys have been fearless in this game and truly believe in every single members of his team that's out there in the field to make it happen. And so far, the plays that they have called have been gold.
Let's step aside for a short break. You are watching My TV Buffalo. Second and 8 at the 31. It's a running play for St. Francis. Tyrone Clark gets to the outside, still on his feet, past the 40, and goes all the way past midfield. Another big play for Tyrone Clark Jr. all the way into Kenishious 40 territory. Another Express Windows first down, courtesy of Tyrone Clark Jr., the former Lackawanna Steeler.
Watch this right now. He takes off. They pitch it right to the outside. He makes a great play. You see him now. Stop, it looks like right there. He stops his feet, picks it up again, and then gets himself another 10 yards because he doesn't give up on the play.
Tyrone Clark Jr. with over 200 yards rushing tonight for the Red Raiders. First and 10. Ball now spotted at the Kenishious 48. It's a pitch to the left. Once again, Clark gets the call. And he is brought down, hit hard by Hernandez, and now a flag comes in.
I wonder if that was a higher hit. It was tough to see right there really quick, but it looks like it was a hit high right there. This could go against Kenishious, and if it does, it could be another first down, and that clock keeps going for St. Francis just like they've wanted to. Coach Smith not happy, though, out in the field, so you start to wonder what may happen here, because Coach Smith came out in the field and you could see he wasn't happy. But then you're seeing some of the St. Francis players clap, so it's tough because obviously we're not on the field. We can't hear what they're saying, but you can see right now just by body language.
Defense number 4, throwing a punch 15 yards from the end of the run. That's an automatic disqualification from the game. He is gone.
So Dylan Floyd's night is over for Kenishious, number 4.
And I hate to say this, not only is it over, but it'll be over for the next game as well, because he'll have to sit out a game right now. So this will be not only the finish of this one more game, he's going to have to sit out. And they're actually, you heard that said he threw a punch, so it wasn't anything to do with the tackle. It was actually right afterwards. And that's the punch you saw right there. We actually, great job by our cameramen to get that on camera. And what do they always say? It's usually the person that retaliates to anything that gets done is the one that gets caught with the flag. And that's exactly what I think happened on that play.
After the penalty, first and 10 for St. Francis at the Kenishious 31. Red Raiders trying to put together the final pieces in this contest. Kenishious looking for a stop. Buttles in the shotgun. Clark is on his right hip here. Wild finish to our final Thursday Night Lights broadcast. Here's the hit off with Clark going in, and it will be all the way close to the Kenishious 20-yard line. 1:52 remaining. Another Express Windows first down. A reminder, stay tuned for the post game as Tom Prince will present the South Towns Trophy and talk with the winning team. Down to 1:45. Clock continues to wind. Kenishious with 2 timeouts left. St. Francis with 1. Clock going down to 90 seconds left. Buttles in the backfield. In shotgun, and now a flag comes in.
Delay a game. Offense number 1, 5 yards from the previous spot. Still first down.
So 1:22 remaining. The penalty against St. Francis. Taking a quick review at the keys to the game, Jerry Smith said we have to be able to run the ball and stop the run. They certainly ran the ball with all 3 touchdowns in the ground game. 2 coming courtesy of Jerome Clark Jr. and Trent Buttles, the quarterback, with a big 75-yard run. Kenishious, head coach Craig Krasansky said that they couldn't turn over the ball, as now another penalty comes in. Kenishious with 2 interceptions as there's more pushing and shoving. With 1:12 remaining, a big skirmish on the St. Francis sideline. It will be interesting to see how this is sorted out. We have over 10 penalties called tonight. So we have 1:12 remaining. There is a St. Francis player being held back on the sideline, a Kenishious player being separated as well. Waiting for the call from Mike Ziglis, who takes a deep breath. Now Jerry Smith is in on discussion. Once again, St. Francis jumped out to a 15-0 lead. 2 75-yard scores back-to-back, Trent Buttles and then Jerome Clark Jr. Clark then recorded a second score from 5 yards out for the 21-0 lead with 2:15 left in the first quarter. Elijah Kimball then got on the score sheet with a 2-yard run midway through the second quarter. That was our 22-7 lead at halftime in favor of St. Francis. Kenishious then got a score back at the 6:12 mark of this fourth quarter, 7 yards out from Amir Hernandez. Max Baer with a pair of extra points. In the kicking department, head coach Craig Krasansky, who is now in on the conversation, as we are still awaiting the call from Mike Ziglis. A lot to be sorted out. Now an even lengthier discussion. Big thanks once again to our entire crew tonight. This is our final Thursday Night Lights broadcast of the year right here on My TV Buffalo. Big thanks to our executive producer, Gordon Blaine, our director, Eric Carpy. The rest of our on-air talent this season, Brian Tripp, Scott Pilkey.
3 penalties on the play. After the play was over, personal foul, number 10, defense. That penalty be assessed half the distance to the goal. Personal foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, rather, number 10, defense. That player is ejected. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 0, that player is ejected. Those penalties will offset. Second down.
And also, just to finish up, Tyler Millen did a great job on the sideline reporting as well for us. So 3 penalties, 2 were offsetting. As you see on your screen, Arno Mabayo unfortunately not able to play. He was Kenishious' leading tackler through the first 5 weeks of the season. 1:12 left in the fourth quarter, as Jerry Smith and the St. Francis Red Raiders are able to break the huddle. Clock is underway. We're approaching the final minute now. 2nd and 11 coming up as Clark gets to the outside, dives for the pylon, and is waiting for the official call. Tyrone Clark is just short. Clark was just sent out of bounds, just shy of the goal line. So 1st and goal coming up at the 1-yard line. It's enough for an Express Windows first down. St. Francis once again inside the red zone as well, which is brought to you by Wilby Insurance. Wilby will when nobody will. Here is the snap. Clark towards the near sideline, tries to get in, and it is good. Another touchdown for the St. Francis Red Raiders on the ground. It's brought to you by Kaleida Health, the official healthcare provider of the Buffalo Bills. Jerome Clark Jr. with his 3rd score of the evening. Another big run from Clark. Now with 13 scores on the season. He had 2 in Week 5 against St. Joe's, and 3 in Week 7 against Bishop Time, and 3 tonight against the rival Kenishious. Extra point is good. And St. Francis, once again for the 2nd time tonight, with a 15-point lead, as Tyrone Clark Jr. with his 3rd score of the night. Let's take a look one more time as Clark gets some help from his offensive line, including William Wortcutter, who is in the end zone. The team celebrates again. You can see the big Simba leap. And St. Francis all fired up 29-14 as Tyrone Clark Jr. on 33 carries, 226 yards, and 3 touchdowns for the Red Raiders, easily shattering his season high of 144, beg your pardon, that he had against Cathedral Prep back in Week 4. Tyrone Clark Jr., to borrow a hockey phrase, with a hat trick of touchdowns. As you can see, the St. Francis Red Raider faithful. There's a sign as well for the quarterback, Trent Buttles. As here we go, 50 seconds left in regulation time. Jacob Janis is on the kick. And here we go. It's a squibber, and it's able to be tracked down by Kenishious just shy of the 40-yard line with 45 seconds left to go. And now some more pushing and shoving after the return. And now let's take a look at the school bus stop of the game presented by NHTSA. Always stop for a school bus when the stop arm is out and the red lights are flashing. Not stopping or trying to beat the stop arm puts lives at risk. It can result in large fines, points on your license, and license suspension.
This is the school bus stop of the game, presented by NHTSA. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
And this one came on Kenishious' opening drive. Mateo Brusco's pass is intercepted by Andre Amos. The junior able to make the stop at the 8:37 mark of the quarter. And that is our school bus stop of the game.
This is the school bus stop of the game, presented by NHTSA. Always remember to stop when the school bus arm is out.
So we're down to 41 seconds remaining. 1st and 10. Make that 2nd and 10 from the Kenishious 39. Brusco is in the shotgun. It's a handoff now to Hernandez. Makes his way past the 45. And then is brought down just shy of midfield as we're down to the last 30 seconds of play. Kenishious with 2 timeouts left. Clock down to 25. 3rd down coming up for the Crusaders with 20 seconds to go. Hernandez once again gets the call, crosses midfield, gets to the outside all the way to the 40, where he gets out of bounds with 13 seconds to go. Clock is winding down. It's another Express Windows 1st down with 13 seconds remaining. A reminder, stay tuned for our post-game report. Tom Prince will talk with the winning team. Big thanks to Tom for joining our Thursday Night Lights crew tonight, making his broadcast television debut. He did a pretty good job. A lot of energy that he brought here to the broadcast. 13 seconds to go. Brusco takes the snap. He looks towards the near side, going for the deep ball. It is incomplete. Jason Love, the intended receiver, with 7 seconds to go. So one last play coming up for Kenishious. Keep in mind, folks, both teams in good position before the Monsignor Martin postseason tournament begins. These were the top 2 teams in the Monsignor Martin coming into tonight. As with 7 seconds left, Brusco sends it to the outside, looking for Noah Harrison. Clock is down to 2 seconds left in this contest. Big catch for Harrison. This will be the final play of the night. Jerome Clark Jr. with 3 touchdowns. In the running game, Trent Buttles adding 1 as well. We saw a touchdown apiece for Elijah Kimball and Amir Hernandez on the Kenishious side. 3rd and 5 coming up. Ball spotted at the 33. Brusco takes the snap. Brusco fires a deep one towards the end zone, and it is intercepted by St. Francis. Jack Cullinan, the intended receiver. And St. Francis with the interception from Kenny Litzinger, the sophomore, able to wrap it up with a 29-14 victory over the Kenishious Crusaders. St. Francis moves to 8-1 in the regular season, 3-0 in Monsignor Martin. And we'll step aside for our break. Coming right back with the postgame. You're watching My TV Buffalo. And welcome back, St. Francis. Go nuts as you defeated your rival, Kenishious, 29-14 here on Thursday Night Lights. And let's now, after the big win tonight, let's send it downstairs as Tom Prince is standing by with the St. Francis Red Raiders and head coach Jerry Smith. Tom?
Western New York, I am here to announce your Monsignor Martin champions, St. Francis. Coach, you absolutely controlled the clock today. Talk about how time of possession was on your side.
Well, our offensive line did a hell of a job today, and Tyrone Clark just, ran up, over, and around everybody, man. It was an unbelievable job today.
Talk about the defense. To be able to keep this Kenishious potent offense down to the points that they had today was because of the D. Talk about it.
Well, all week in practice, we knew that they're a good team. They're going to get yardage, but we knew that if we came and played our game, we had to play fast and we had to play hard, and that's what we did, and it turned out in our favor.
And there you go, and now you are Monsignor Martin champions. Tyrone, you're here for a reason. It was time to get Tyrone Clark onto the stage here in Western New York as a top running back. You do it today. Talk about how you were able to do it.
Just my line, my team. All the practice, all the late nights. We don't go home till like 7 o'clock. I mean, come on. But the line, without the line, it wouldn't be nothing possible.
There you go, folks. This is a big win right here. Your Monsignor Martin champion, St. Francis. Let's kick it back up to Joe.
Thank you very much, Tom. The 202nd career win for Jerry Smith, and a big one, a memorable one to close out the regular season, a 29-14 final over Kenishious. The Red Raiders move to 8-1 to close out the regular season, 3-0 in Monsignor Martin play. And Jerry Smith is also now 5-1 in the head-to-head against Kenishious head coach Craig Krasinski. A big win, and that will conclude all of our action here this season on Thursday Night Lights. A big thank you to everyone behind the scenes, our executive producer, Gordon Blaine, our director, Eric Carpy. You can see the entire production crew right now on your screen. Everyone working hard behind the scenes, putting in all the hours to make these broadcasts possible. We had a lot of fun since the opening game back at Star Point in early September. And big thanks to our other on-air talent, Ryan Tripp, Scott Pilkey, and Tyler Miller. For my partner tonight, Tom Prince, I am Joe Krause. We thank you all so much for tuning in. We hope to see you next time. This is the Law Office of William Attar's Thursday Night Lights, presented by Stellar Roofing on My TV Buffalo.
Would like to take a moment to thank the wonderful sponsor partners, William Attar, Stellar Roofing, Aesthetic Associates Center, and the University of Buffalo, who through their contributions to the program make these games possible for you viewers at home. We'd also like to thank our other great sponsor supporters for their contributions to our 2025 Thursday Night Lights telecasts. And we especially like to thank tonight's participating high schools and their administrators for their continued support.